Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
It's
101.
It's Friday!
101.
Yeah!
There it is.
Finally! Friday is here. It's our final Bengals. I got Bengals on the brain. Sorry, Bull. It's our final Browns-Falcons preview. We're going to talk about the Bengals last night.
Yeah, right.
They look pretty good. They look like the Bengals team that we thought we'd see all season. DeQuell Jackson is here. We always have fun with Captain Jack. 60 ticks or 4 minutes with Koby Altman. Brad did the interview.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be 60 seconds with, but it's 4 minutes. But I'm told it's great.
It's 3 questions, only 3 questions.
But I'm told it's great.
I don't know.
I'm told
That's
it's
what we
great
hear.
insight, which is what we want from Koby Altman.
I was drafted off the sideline.
Yeah.
I was like,
I know, I heard. But by the way, you get a major assist. I'm told that you were absolutely vital, and Jason, who's not here today.
Brad was just grabbing guys.
Just
like
getting
a
guys and bringing them over on Media Day. So well done.
That's dope.
Also, we're playing a new game today, and I don't think any of us know what it is,
No
other than
clue.
the fact that it's B&B versus G&J. And Mike Polk is going to be here for the 5th chair, just for that segment, because Mike's busy today. But do you want to explain what we're doing in this game? Brad and Bull versus G and I?
All right, full transparency. I only halfway know what's going to happen.
Oh, so this is a Mike Polk special.
I know the name of the game. I know the
Right.
one slate he sent me and the 3 music tracks he sent me, and that's all I know.
Can you tell us what the music tracks are? It might
Yes,
glean
they're-
some insight into what.
They are called, let me pull it up.
Oh, wait, are they off our music library?
Oh yeah.
Oh, we won't know what the hell it is then.
It's called Women's Music 101. I don't know why. I
What
don't
makes
know why.
this women's
this
music?
Jay, this must be a drinking game. This is what this is.
It's Friday, and DeQuell is coming
Well,
out.
it's on. Yeah, that's true.
DeQuell is with us. There's got to be some shots
This is
coming out
called
here.
Dramatic Game Show Music Library 107.
Oh, my God.
Well, you know what? I like that, though. It's got a good feel to it. It's got a sense of urgency.
Yes.
Look at G's face.
We're actually going to use that one for true and
scouting.
false now. I actually like that.
Oh, yeah, that
That
is
one
good for
does.
true and false.
It's got
yeah.
a good sense
I
of
like that.
urgency.
It does.
to
Yeah,
It does.
look at G's face. Look
I'm
at
scouting on this one. Y'all might be in trouble.
By the way,
I'll give you one hint on the game. I'll give you one hint. It has to do with Cleveland athletes and things off the field they've done.
I like it.
oh, that's going to be
I like
great.
it.
Here's my bar for
I don't
Mike.
even like the sound of that.
Quarterback or Browns quarterback or auto mechanic. Like,
that was
to
great.
me,
I
that's
don't
the
know
Mike
enough
Polk
about it
bar.
to compare.
Okay, I hope it lives up to that. Before we dive into anything else,
Yeah.
we had a great laugh last night. We were all at the Guardians game, and in as you know, if you've been to Guardians games, in the middle of the innings they have hosts, stadium hosts.
Yep.
Gabby's one of them. I know a lot of fans are familiar with her.
Right.
I don't know the gentleman's name, but I wish we had a picture of this guy.
This dude.
He is so ripping off G. Bush's look.
Hey, bro, he copyright infringement.
Really?
Takes infringement. Stole my whole swag.
Really?
I mean,
I
to the
saw
glasses,
him briefly.
to
Yes.
the hat,
To everything, man. This dude, but he like a.
but he's got a nose ring, so he's
we
edgy
gonna-
G. Bush.
Yeah, it's we ain't getting no nose ring.
You know that Spider-Man meme where they're both
Yeah.
pointing at each other?
Yeah.
That's what I thought of when I saw this guy.
that bad, huh?
Yeah. It was rough, man.
He's like hipster G. Bush.
Like he be using.
He is hipster G.
He
Bush.
be
Okay.
using his facial mannerisms, man. He'd cut, copied, and pasted everything.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'll take this.
Did you call him out on it?
Nah,
I mean, before today?
I mean, he was all over the screen. and
He
without
does a good
microphone.
job. I want to say that. He does a really good job.
so he's a-
I think the whole Indians team does
He's a
with those
stand-
in
he's
middle
a
inning
stand-in when
things.
you're sick.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a stunt double.
He's stunt double.
He's definitely a
Absolutely.
stunt double.
I
I
would
would
like-
much shorter than you, though. No.
We'll give him some pillows.
And we are all we are all derivatives of kicking it with Kenny.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what? You do look like kicking it with Kenny now that I'm
Maybe
we all derivatives.
kicking it with G. Bush.
maybe in the movie about you, he could play like the 25-year-old you.
Yes.
Yes,
that-
because he
that's
is
it,
younger.
right?
He is
Yeah.
younger.
And then they hit you up. See, that's what they did when they hired me. They was like,
Kicking it with
yeah,
Kenny.
do you know anybody named McKinney? I was like, no. They was like, can you kick it? I said, yes.
Yes.
They was like, yeah, you're the guy. You're that kicking it with Kenny guy.
You're hired.
You're in the position, right?
I will say this though, when you said he's not as big as G. Bush,
Yeah.
TV really hides the size. I mean, obviously Brad's a huge human being.
Yeah.
But I was floored
I was
last
shocked.
night at the number of people that hit us up directly and said, I had friends that were there that
Yeah.
were saying, yo, G. Bush is flat huge. One said NFL size. G. Bush out there like a big man.
Like, yeah, like it's crazy. Like I took a like.
I mean, his NFL size.
I took a picture at training camp with Quincy Carrier, right?
Yeah.
And we walked past like Myles Garrett, and it was like, low-key, G. Bush is big. I said, don't put me in the same category with Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Like, if I take this shirt off, it's going to be a problem.
Somebody tweeted at me and said, I think G. Bush is as tall as Brad. I said, let's not get carried away.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
Let's not get carried
So
away.
you're 7 foot,
7
a
foot even.
legitimate 7
Legit.
foot too,
Legit.
and you're probably 6'4".
6'4" and some change. I used to be a little taller.
I mean, you're thicker than Brad, obviously.
And you know the crazy part about this, Brad, is it's kind of bad because it'd be a lot of profiling going on. Like, you can't do certain professions.
Oh, no.
Like, if he tried to be an FBI agent.
Oh, no.
No,
Never happened.
He sticks out like a sore thumb.
How you go undercover?
Pilot.
What if I try
Jockey.
What if I try to be Donovan People-Jones? See,
Don't go there.
No.
Don't go there. I will say, we were down on the field before the game yesterday, and for my 5 o'clock or 4:30 hit for Channel 3, we had Aaron Savali and Sam Hentges come down, and we did an interview.
Right.
And I think you guys were just as stunned as I was.
He tall.
Sam Hentges rolls out, and this dude's a legit power forward.
Yo,
Yeah, he's huge.
7', 6'8".
He's 6'8", a
I'll
legit 6'8".
I'll tell you something else I noticed down the field because I hadn't seen him in person before. Oscar Gonzalez is
It's
huge.
Massive.
huge.
Massive.
We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
I know, but McNuggets and I did.
Huge.
I mean, he
And
looks
you know
like
what's crazy is when he stands next to Ramirez, which
Yeah.
he was on
Right.
the field, it really is striking.
I
But
know.
even when he's standing next to big guys, now he looks big in the batter's box, but you
Yeah.
really cannot appreciate the size
No,
of
unless
some of
you're
these
there.
guys until you're there. And on the flip side, when you stand next to Stephen Kwan, you want to say, well, what time does the fifth go off? You think he's like a horse jockey. He's so small.
tiny.
My wife looked at him like, I could take you. 4'9". But I will say, all jokes aside, I want to thank the Guardians.
Yes.
Curtis
for showing
Danberg.
me
Curtis was awesome.
Great care of
everybody
Curtis.
so
Curtis
much
is awesome.
love,
Yeah.
man. It
Curtis
was
is awesome.
first class. My parents was just so happy. They was just like, these are the best seats we ever had. Y'all showed us so much love. And I'm going to just be honest with you, man. And I'm not comparing to nobody else. I'm going to always have respect for y'all for the way y'all rolled out that red carpet. That was a beautiful thing, man. I just want to thank you from my family to you. Thank you for being so gracious.
So
They were
Well
great.
said.
So the Guardians VPs from the Guardian staff, Neil Weiss and Bob DiBiase are joining us on Monday to talk about that. But they've been first class for a long time.
They have.
And the way that folks in this town underappreciate what they've been doing.
They've taken it for granted, Brad.
Yeah, they take it for granted. Yeah,
And
so-
never take greatness for granted because it can disappear like
We're
that.
going to get down to the nitty-gritty on Monday, but I tell you what, they are. I'm not surprised that you got first class.
Yeah, we had such a good time yesterday.
We kind of threw him a curveball, too, because I didn't know this. Initially, I think McNuggets asked for 10 tickets for our staff.
Yeah.
So that way we could bring a family member. You brought your folks and your wife. I brought my wife. And I didn't know this. Going on behind the scenes, my son, who
Who's here.
coaches track at Rutgers and is in studio
we have a
today.
studio. Let's introduce the studio.
Yeah, we've got an entire
Three
studio.
family
on.
members.
Yes, in the
First of all,
building.
Director Steve, tell us about our first guest.
Right.
That is Director Jim, a.k.a. Director Steve's brother.
Yes.
He's also a lefty. He's a member of the Ohio State Marching Band.
OSU.
no
Wow.
To Biddle. Very nice. Very
And
nice.
he's also older than Steve, which Steve wants everyone to know.
So Steve's better looking and older brother.
Correct.
Yes.
All right, very good. And then this is Maddie and Corey. That's my son and his girlfriend. Corey, as you know, if you watch the show regularly, coaches track at Rutgers. And we FaceTimed Tuesday night, and we had told him that I was going to throw out the first pitch. And he said, oh, man, I wish I could be there. I never expected that he could. So we're down on the field getting ready to, I think we were doing one of the shows for Channel 3, and I look up, and here comes my son, my wife, and Maddie walking down the steps. And it was one of those moments where you don't expect to see that person. And my original thought was, damn, that looks like Corey. And then I saw who he was with, and I'm like, that is Corey. He came in from Rutgers, which, from New York.
nice.
It's not, they drove. It's a
it's like a
7-hour
7-hour
drive.
drive, yeah.
They got to drive it back. They're going to stay for the weekend. We're going to the Buckeye game tomorrow. We're going to watch the Browns
Nice.
game
I
together
was just going to
Sunday.
ask if you're going to Buckeye
So,
game.
yeah, we are. Because Rutgers is in town. My son,
Corey,
the
I'm sorry.
diehard that he is, and he's paid by Rutgers. You know what he said? When we left the house this morning, he looked at me serious as a heart attack and said, hey, we got a real chance in this game.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Corey,
underdog.
They got a chance to cover, maybe.
Corey, let me enlighten you.
Yeah.
Get to the Panera stand and the popcorn's there. This is going to be a beat down tomorrow.
Yeah, it is. I have a feeling it will be. So earlier this week, Adam actually asked Robert Smith the question:
Right.
Could the Bucks beat Rutgers Saturday if if Bull and McNuggets were the running backs?
Only
and Robert Smith never batted an eye. He's like, oh yeah,
Without a question.
yeah, they could win.
I'd run for 250 easy.
No question. Without question.
You're not running for 250.
I love how the fact he just woke up and with so much optimism.
He was like,
yeah, the game telling you
Well-
the game playing over some eggs.
Yeah.
His paycheck has that R on it, so he's got to think that way. And now when he talks about it, he says us. The kid grew up the biggest Ohio State fan of all time. And then they didn't recruit him.
I grew up a big Guardians fan. If you had made it to the majors and got drafted by the White Sox, they'd be us.
Yeah, absolutely
I
right.
have to give
Absolutely
him
right.
credit. You got to roll with who you with.
You got
you
to.
do.
You got to roll with who you with.
That's
right.
You have to.
So wait, before we move on though,
Yeah.
this is what we have to look at and watch and see because
Okay.
not only were we at the Guardians game yesterday, but
Yeah.
we had the privilege of going out on the field. The Guardians announced the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show,
Right.
and Jay alongside two kids who were phenomenal.
Yeah, they both threw
Throughout
great
the
first
first
pitches.
pitch.
By the way, before you show the pitch real quick, when I was leaving, I ran into the dad of the kid who had the heart issue.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
ran into his dad when I chatted with him while really nice family.
Yeah, very
and they were
nice.
very excited to meet you and very excited to be out on the field. And the kid made a great pitch.
He threw it all the way. He told me, I asked him before, are you going to go up to the mound? He goes,
Yeah.
to the top.
Yeah, and he did.
And
He
I
reached
said, can you
the
get
plate.
it there? He's a shortstop pitcher for his
Yeah.
team. He's only like 10.
Okay.
But, man, he threw an
threw a
absolute
strike.
strike.
You got to
which was
recruit that
great.
kid, Bull.
I know. I
He
need
would
Yeah,
help
you
on the
need him.
Rocky River.
I do.
whatever.
I need another pitcher.
Yeah, well, he's a great kid.
All right,
Great
so you
kid.
guys ready?
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
UCSS camera. Let's
Yeah.
see if Jay threw a ball or a strike.
First of all, I'm stunned that you're even trying to, for a second, think that was a ball.
That's a strike.
That's a
it's
strike.
a high.
I
but
mean,
in
it's a-
fact, not only is it a strike, it's exactly what I said would happen. I said you would throw a high strike.
did.
And that's exactly what you did. It was right at the top of the zone.
Yes.
It was a strike.
Yeah, there's no question it was a strike. McNuggets trying to stir up some controversy.
Yeah,
now,
that was a
so the
strike.
catcher, we should point out, that's Kirk McCarty, who, by the way,
Tiny.
smaller than we thought. We know
Yes.
he's listed at 5'8". He's not that tall. And now watch where he catches it. Now, granted, he's squatting, but he's 5'8".
Yeah.
But he catches it just above his
Jay,
head.
did I see you adjust the seams here?
I threw 4 seam.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, I couldn't. I
That's
can't
not
throw
even,
hard.
If Brad's in the batter's box, that's way below.
That's
the knees.
perfect for me.
No, that's
Below his
perfect
knee.
for Brad.
perfect
That's
for
just
me.
the knees for
That's
Brad.
perfect for me.
Did you say it would be below
And that
his
is
knee?
a
Oh no,
strike.
no, sorry.
Oh, that's-
Look at okay.
that's-
There's the freeze frame right
Yep.
there.
Yeah.
That's perfect for me.
It's a high strike.
He didn't
It's-
even have to move.
Now look, guys,
Now,
if he
Bonds is-
stands up
Yeah.
and keeps his glove where it is, it's going to be below his letters, well below his letters.
Oh, yeah, there's no
He's
question.
in a full crouch.
Well, Bond's going yard on this thing, so.
Well, yeah, Bonds is taking that out of the stadium, but I'll tell you who's not. Tyvis.
He has nothing for it.
And I look at my advanced age at 57
That's
years
good.
old.
That's
to
good.
be able to just go out there, I didn't warm up, and that's my biggest fear.
Yeah.
Because before I ever throw hard, I throw with a heavy ball and then I long toss.
Right.
So before I ever unfurl one and
It's
let
on
it
the
go,
Big screen, dude.
yeah. By the way, this is a little kid's dream come true. I mean, I know that the little guys that got to throw out the first pitch just made their, that's a dream come true for them. But guys, you have to understand, since the time I was 5 years old, I used to sleep in my Indians uniform. My parents bought me a baseball uniform. I just refused it. Like, my mom would only wash it when I couldn't wear it to go somewhere else. In the summertime, I lived in it.
Yeah.
All I ever wanted to do was be a pitcher for the Cleveland Indians. A couple years ago in a tournament that I was playing in out in Arizona, we went to all of the spring training sites out there, and I pitched a game at the Guardians spring training complex. And for me, that was a dream come true. I warmed up in their bullpen.
Right.
I've watched many games there. I got to pitch a complete 9-inning game on their mound in a big spot in a tournament. That was a dream come true for me. But that last night, was really a 57-year-old watching his dream come true.
Let me say this. First of all, kudos to you, because I've seen many a person go out there and dribble the ball or throw it some crazy.
Remember the mayor of Cincinnati?
We should have done a poll. Who's done it worse?
Crazy
Because 50
play.
Cent also might be the worst of all time.
Carl Lewis.
Oh, yeah. Carl Lewis was bad. Carl Lewis was bad.
Bob Bowie from the Howard Stern
Yes,
show.
yes.
One of the worst ones.
Yeah.
But for you to step up there, basically unwarmed up, and really deliver that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm proud of you that
Thank
you
you,
got a
brother.
chance to do
Thank
that.
you.
'cause that's slick.
I wasn't gonna give my dream a bad ending. You know,
No, you couldn't have
I
that.
was gonna tube it.
That's like,
We
that's-
have the
that's-
YouTube poll results, by the way. We have the
Okay.
YouTube poll results.
So wait. What was the question? Ball or
Ball or
strike?
strike.
All right.
We left it up for 2 minutes. We had 68 votes. Jay, I tried my best to hand you an L, but 69% said strike.
Yeah.
There we go.
I do wanna
You
say,
did
though,
try your best.
I tried my hardest. I do want to say, before we move on, because we do got to talk a little Browns, that Roberto El Presidente said, it's Jay, so I'm going to say it's a ball, even though it's a strike. So thank you to the people in the chat.
I love
who
you,
tried to-
Presidente.
I want to make sure that got a little acknowledgement.
Absolutely. Because
yeah.
anytime there's a YouTube poll involving me, I'm done.
Oh, listen.
I am done.
They can
Especially
be
if it's against G. Bush.
And they can
Yeah.
say, is Jay Crawford a Caucasian male?
No.
He's mixed. He's light skinned.
By the way, I asked Kirk McCarty how hard he thought you threw. He said 70s.
Yeah.
It was about 70s.
I couldn't throw hard. I mean, I would love to have had like a little bullpen session. I wonder if anybody's ever asked to do that. We were joking, should I step off the rubber and throw to first?
right.
No.
You know,
Yeah.
should I shake off the sign?
The step off the second is hilarious.
Yeah, I thought about doing that.
Oh, the spin around.
The spin around,
that
yeah.
would've
Would have
been
been
good.
The pickoff
hysterical,
move.
That
and we
would've
would
been
never
good.
have been invited back.
Right.
And just threw it into center field.
Pulled the Trevor Bauer.
Yeah, right.
No. But I want to thank the Guardians for, and also,
Yeah, they were awesome.
You guys being there made it even that
It
much
was
more
fun. It was a
special.
fun day for all
really
of us.
cool.
Yeah.
It was really fun to be out there with you guys. So thank you so much to Curtis and the Guardians. And they got the win last night.
Yep.
So the way it looks, they could actually play the Rays. The Rays have been in a slump here
Right.
as they're trying to punch their ticket. Their magic number is at 1. It was that game last night meant nothing to the Guardians. That was for a
Right.
playoff spot for the Rays.
They're a half game back of the Mariners.
They are. So
Yeah.
right now it would be the Guardians and the Rays in
Right.
that. And I'll tell you guys, this team matches up extremely well
Oh,
with us.
yeah.
We just played 3 one-run games with them. 2 of them went extras. And even last night's game, they had to score a run in the 8th.
Right.
And the bases were loaded in the 9th. And somehow we got
Yeah,
out
their
of it.
lineup
but
doesn't look good right now. So
no. So that's a team that
But
scares
Springs
me. I
pitched
do
really
not
well.
want the Rays in the
He's
first round.
Yeah, well, McClanahan's been really good, although he's been banged up down
Springs
the
was
stretch.
great last night.
Springs has been great under the radar guy, and Rasmussen's been
Yeah.
really good. Their pitching's good.
All right, it is time to turn the page, and we've got it. This
Yeah.
is our final preview for the Browns and the Falcons, and we've talked about it all week long. We've dissected the Browns' offense versus the Falcons' defense, and vice versa. What I want to do today is try to drill down on each of you guys, and I want to start with the defensive injuries that are. We don't know who's going to play.
Yeah.
1 to 10, Bull. 10 being, oh my God, this is a 5-alarm fire. 1, you're
Yeah.
not concerned at all. Where are you on not just the injuries, but how this defense could do if they are without 5 of their starters?
I would say a 7. And the only reason it's not higher is because, unlike you guys, I don't think the Atlanta's offense is that good. But it is concerning. I mean, Myles Garrett, I don't think is going to play.
It doesn't
Jadeveon
look like
Clowney, I don't think is going to play.
I think JOK will play.
JOK probably will play.
Yeah.
But Taven Bryan's not going to, not that he's that good, but he's a starter, so he must
Yeah.
be, I assume he's better than the guy behind him.
Yeah.
So that means 3 of your 4 starters on your defensive line are probably not playing. They haven't practiced all week. And then, I know we're talking about defense. I just heard today that David Njoku didn't practice yesterday.
Yeah,
Now,
no, we didn't know about that yesterday.
that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I know it
Because he
did.
practiced the day before. When you have a midweek, all of a sudden you're not practicing, that's never a good sign.
It's
so that's going to hurt the offense. And I don't know. Maybe he's going to be fine. He's going to play. But if he doesn't, obviously he's there.
So where are you on the concern? 6?
I say 7.
7.
7, yeah.
That high.
Yeah.
Brad, what about you?
I'm a 6 because when you start taking starters out of the mix, right, and no matter whether you're a game changer or not, I mean, you're messing up the flow of the team. We're used to playing with certain people, certain things. So now you already had Clowney out. Now you got Garrett out. Now, now who the edge rushers now? What are we going to put any heat?
Look
here?
at that. Those are the names.
I said,
Yeah, and
so
it's not anybody we recognize.
No.
we sitting here now. Now you're depending on a secondary because if I don't see that, if I'm no pressure up front, that means I'm throwing the ball. And we already had holes and problems in the back in the secondary.
Yeah.
So this thing could get sideways on us real quick.
So you're
So I'm
7.
really concerned.
You're a 7 then.
6-7.
6-7. G. Bush.
5.
Not at all, or moderately.
Medium
Okay.
game. And
Why? What to make us feel better about this?
Well, as long as one Nicholas Chubb is still playing, I feel very confident. Secondly,
That's true.
I like the fact that Jack Conklin is back. He's gonna be back, and it's his 2nd week of playing.
Although he didn't practice yesterday
Yeah,
either.
no.
Now I'm
I would-
assuming it's just not a big deal.
That's
with
probably
him.
precautionary.
Precaution.
Yeah.
He's never gonna practice for me. He's just gonna be on the sideline
Yeah.
doing yoga or something. So you got him.
Yeah, you got some type people.
You got him, and you got to think about it. People was kind of upset. They were spot shadowing Harrison Bryant for a while. He ain't the same type of tight end as Njoku. That's the Njoku actually is probably the for me, the most scary because I think I'm expecting him to have a big game. And if he's not there,
if he doesn't play, that's a loss.
It's definitely Amari Cooper getting doubled up because then I ain't got to worry into nothing. But for the most part, the guys that are injured, yes, Myles Garrett is big. Yes, Jadeveon Clowney is big. But I've been saying it all along. This forces Joe Woods to actually have to earn that money this week. He gonna earn every one of his paychecks. He can't sit up there and sometimes when you got a dominant player like a Lawrence Taylor or Reggie White, you just say, "Oh, I'm gonna just use his talent." You got LeBron. You get a LeBron ball at the top of the key and you run pick and roll 100,000 times. Now you're not gonna be able to do that. Now they're gonna have to bring blitzes. Hey, Ronnie Harrison. Wake on up, bro. You're going to be playing.
So what are you saying about Joe Woods if they struggle? What is that saying?
Well, it all depends on the way they struggle, right? If they struggle and he's being creative, I can give you that. Like, say, for instance, if they're bringing a lot of blitzes, if they're moving corners around, if the safeties is blitzing and they getting them off their spot, but they just getting beat up front because they ain't got nobody up to stop the run, I give you that. You can't make somebody stop the run. I mean, it's Alex Wright and Rochelle. I don't know nobody named Rochelle. I went to high school with a girl named Rochelle, but she was
This
cute
is
too.
a different person.
It's a whole different person.
I can confirm that this is a different
person. And that Rochelle ain't stopping the run. So,
does that Rochelle have a better chance at this Rochelle?
I don't know. She was kind of hot. People might stop. They might holler.
Hey, real quick. Hey, don't take this full, Steve. Do you know who that is in the picture?
Huh?
Is that Alex Wright? I don't know.
It is not Alex Wright.
Isaiah Thomas.
Is that Rochelle?
That's Rochelle.
Dang, Rochelle.
What up, Rochelle?
You're a big guy.
He's taking pictures with the fans.
That is how little depth the Browns have in defense.
We don't even know who he is.
You don't even know who that is. Exactly.
That's crazy.
I hope I'm wrong. I agree with you, too, by the way. I mean, this is going to be one of those where Joe Woods has to dance for his dinner.
They need to blitz.
Because
they need to get aggressive.
I want to see exotic blitzes. I want to see safeties coming up to the line. Even if they don't come home a lot, I want to see them at least give the look. Because the pre-snap deception is a big part of success in the NFL. So show blitz. But you also, before that is effective, you have to bring it sometimes too. And you have to get into the head of Mariota. So I do think that you've got to show different looks. You've got to bring. You can't just rush four for the whole game. If they just rush four like they just plugged in new pieces on the ends and they think that they're going to get home, then it's a real problem for Joe Woods.
You think that you kind of skeptical, Brad. You skeptical.
Man, don't make Mariota no star here, right?
Listen, I'm higher than him.
Mariota not no sucker, right? I mean, he had some success.
I think Mariota is a sucker.
You do? Listen, let me tell you something. If you got any skill about yourself, you play some inferior mess, you can make yourself look like a star. Yes, you can.
You can.
It's only a 60-minute game, so don't be sitting out here like
Brad. I'm a 9. I am.
Wow.
And I'll tell you why.
Wow.
It's because the two biggest pieces of your defense that aren't replaceable, okay?
Right.
So I think our depth at corner, if you lose a corner, and we have, you can roll in a nickel. You can bring in other corners that have proven that you're not going to see this dramatic drop in production.
Right.
Mike, if we can throw the graphic up on the Browns sacks this year.
You want the individual or by game?
Yeah, they were individual. They all... And
give us one.
That's
their
one of the
second leading sacker that's going to play in this game.
Half a sack.
Are defensive backs with half a sack.
Yeah, and so that's why. So again, if it was Ward and another corner or even a safety, I would say okay, we can replace those guys. But there are no replacements for Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney walking through that door.
No.
Okay. And when you look at what the other folks on this team have through 3 games, there's 2 sacks amongst the entire defense.
Yeah.
Actually, I think there are other guys.
And that's where, as G said, it's really on the coaching, right?
It is.
It is. Like last night, in the Bengals-Dolphins game, the Bengals were without their best defensive tackle, DJ Reader, who's a great run stopper. Doesn't get sacks, but he's a big run stopper, right? So they had to scheme differently.
And they did.
Against the run, and they, for the most part, shut down the Dolphins' run. The Browns got to do this more about the pass rush than the run necessarily.
Right.
But it's up to the coach to say, I don't have my best tools in the pass rush.
Yeah.
Well, I got to find another way to get to the quarterback. I can't even though I don't think Mariota's very good, he's still an NFL quarterback. I can't let him sit there all day and throw the ball.
And the discussion
I got to find a way.
In the NFL for coaches is it Jimmys and Joes or X's and O's?
Right.
You've always heard that.
Right.
Sure.
Well, if you've got Garrett and Clowney, it's about the Jimmys and Joes.
Yeah.
But if you don't, and they may not, now it's suddenly about the X's and O's.
Yeah.
And who becomes those guys?
Well,
and you've got to do something different.
That's
You've
right.
got to ratchet up pressure.
Yes.
And hopefully, Joe Woods knows that.
Well,
We're not telling him something he doesn't know.
The other problem is now your glaring weaknesses become more clear, right? So you have
Right.
you have nobody in the middle that's causing heat. Your backer's not bringing no heat, right? See, when you get heat, you get sacks, right? It could be Clowney, it could be Garrett, it could be the linebackers, right? You're not getting no sacks from the linebackers. You're not getting no push up front. You got Garrett going off, Clowney out. Now they triple teaming him, right? So now that's why my concern is legitimate because I'm sitting here. It's okay. We're filling in for a few minutes, a quarter or two.
Right.
You're talking about 60 minutes of a game.
You're going to be
here.
exposed.
Yeah.
You're going to be
Right.
exposed. It's like the engine that's lost one of its cylinders. The others have to start working harder,
Right.
and you blow the entire
That's
engine.
right.
Remember,
It's like playing the Bulls and Jordan not playing today.
Right.
Oh, he not playing today?
And
You
it
can play
doesn't have to be-
whack-a-mole for a minute, but
It's
not for 48.
And it's not just about sacks, right? Like, you just got to get the quarterback uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You got to pressure him. Even if you don't sack him, but you get him to throw the ball earlier than he wants to, that's effective. It's not like they have to have 5-6 sacks this week. They can't let him just sit there and be comfortable and pick his
They
targets.
also can't let him run crazy.
Hey,
that's
real
true.
quick, guys, this is from Mary Kay. She just tweeted out, Myles Garrett is not practicing for the third straight day. However, he is still expected to address the media after practice, but that means he has not practiced all
can't
week.
play.
I can't imagine he's
After that
playing.
car accident, you're not playing.
Well, by the way, what guys? Go ahead and make your thought.
After you just saw what happened with Tua.
That's where I was going.
Right.
That's exactly where I was going.
He can't play.
He can't play.
Yeah, and so the Tua issue last night, he was severely concussed.
God.
Yeah.
Severely concussed. It was
was
very
creepy.
difficult to
Yeah,
look
yeah,
at. The reaction, I said immediately, this is a terrible look for the NFL. The reaction this morning from national media, it's a really bad situation for the NFL. Now you've got a guy who rolled a car, and we've all seen those images.
Wow.
Right.
Any chance that there was that Myles Garrett runs through that tunnel and plays, that's over.
Yeah.
That's over.
Finito.
Because you can't have two premier players in your league suffer a concussion within a week of going out there to play football. And to his case, call it what you want. It wasn't a back injury last Sunday. It was a concussion. It was a concussion.
Yeah.
And for him to be back out on the field and then back out on the field 4 days later, that's a horrible look for the Dolphins, for the NFL. And you made a point before the show, and go ahead and make that again, because I think it's
there
important.
is some personal responsibility
Absolutely.
here. I think, listen, obviously the league to some degree is at fault. What happened with this independent doctor? Like, I understand the Dolphins team doctor, people questioning that, but they made a big deal about there being an independent doctor, and if they gave him misinformation, that's bad. Ultimately, we can't give the player a total pass, I believe. Like, you got to have, and I'm always a player guy, but in this case, it's like, okay, we know the dangers of concussion now.
Let's turn to
There's gotta
Brad,
be
though.
some personal
Because,
responsibility.
Brad, you know as well as anyone that the mindset of a player, I don't care if they got a gaping wound and they're pouring out blood. I'm fine, coach. I'm staying in.
Can his teammates grab him and say you can't play?
No.
It's
Cannot.
tough, Bull.
Cannot.
It's really tough. It's got to come from the adult in the room.
Just let me give you a couple layers here, right? So, and to Bull's point, he's correct. It should be that way. But it is not that way because the worst person to ask in the entire thing is the player. Because the player, since he's been 6 years old, been told, if you don't go out here and play, you a soft player.
Yeah, put a Band-Aid on it and get out there.
Get out of here, right? That's that's like the scarlet letter on you, right?
So it's trying to reverse a lifetime of thinking.
He's going to come out here. Secondly, and this is what a team doctor is. It used to be like this. I'm sure it still has some inkling like this. The team doctor is beholden to the team.
Sure.
Right.
So you don't.
And I also question how independent is this independent.
So the independent doctor is, and here's the other thing. It's a protocol test, right? Sometimes you could trick the test, right?
I've been told by players that they intentionally sandbag the original test.
Right.
So when they're tested later for their baseline, there's not a big variance.
So here's
they
the thing.
figured out a way to beat the system.
What ticked everybody off was the eye test. We all saw it.
We saw it.
Yeah.
We
Right.
saw it. We knew exactly what it was.
Don't tell me that's not a concussion.
And somebody should have been there to be like, oh, you're not going back in this game on Sunday. And then I was shocked. They put him in the game on Thursday.
Which was unbelievable.
Especially when McDaniel seems like such a...
Before you guys go, DeQuell was literally on a call about this, I think, right before he hopped on with us. He's here now and says he's got to get in. So
Love to hear his thoughts.
no one knows better than DeQuell. What's up, DeQuell?
DeQuell, welcome to the show.
What's
what are your
going on,
thoughts
fellas?
here? What are your thoughts?
What kind of hat you got
He
on
should not
there?
have been on the field in our view.
It's a black-owned golf apparel company.
All right, well,
Okay.
say that.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Support black-owned business.
What's the name of it?
Eastside Golf.
Very
Yeah,
good.
they have some nice apparel. My golf game is terrible, by the way.
So
But,
tell me about this thing, right? Because I'm shocked.
Yeah, so I heard the comments Bull made, and I do understand where you're coming from, Bull, but when you've been in that situation before, and my wife we were actually watching the national media outlet talking about this specific issue, and she had to remind me what happened when my last concussion in the Giants Stadium. I was completely blacked out, and I remember waking up and thinking I was okay. They asked me all the questions about where I am. What quarter is it? Do you know what team you play for? They got me in the inside of the locker room. Mm-hmm. At that point, I felt like I was fine, but I didn't know what actually had happened.
Right.
So in terms of protecting the player, from the eyeball test, anytime a guy hits the turf very hard and he gets up and he stumbles, that's not a damn back issue. That's a head.
Yeah, that's great.
And from the eyeball test, which I think a lot of people would agree, listen, if you're an independent spotter and your position throughout game day is to protect the players from the players, I think there was some neglect that happened here because from the eyeball test, if I was a player on that team, I would go to a medical professional like, hey, he's done. He's out of it. He's done. There's no way he can come back in this game. So from a player standpoint, everyone is in a different financial situation, right? And for Tua, you look at the overall situation. He comes from an organization who didn't want him to now the success they've had has been an organizational success and plus his very own. So he's playing for
his future. So let
we lost him.
So let me.
Well, he did connect.
No, he's back. He's back. Hey, DeQuell, you kind of cut out. Give us that last 10 seconds again. Well, I guess he froze off.
Maybe we can drop it.
I'll work with DeQuell. Yeah, hold on. You guys take it over a sec.
All right.
By the way, how does he get on a plane last night?
I was surprised by that too.
Let me just jump on the end of that story, right? So what I did not say is that Tua is in a situation where he's looking for his future down the line, right?
Sure.
He already was under heat, right? So I cannot sit down.
It's the Baker Mayfield thing.
I'm also down here. The Dolphins are off to a good start. I want to be here. I got to be here, right? And so the second thing is, the football players don't have guaranteed money. Right?
No.
They get a lump sum payment depending on what it is, who you are. The guaranteed money, sit down. If I had the guaranteed money, I don't have to rush out there because I'm going to get this money anyway.
Well, he does have guaranteed money, too, for this year and next.
No, he does, but to the bigger picture, he's looking for lifetime security. Right now, he doesn't have that.
And the truth is the Dolphins put him in a tough spot.
I agree.
Right, because he either had to say, hey, like you'd think his family or some of his teammates would say it, but I mean, it's fair.
And I'll give you a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
It's the dynamics of power, right? And the dynamics of power mean that if I'm over you, right? If I'm your boss, I can't expect our relationship to be equal. That's why they don't let you have relationships with subordinates. Because even if you think, oh, he did this on his own or she wanted to do it, no. The dynamics of power put it to a place where you control that person's livelihood, you control their future, you control all of the things that go into your career, so you can't technically make that decision as a subordinate.
So everybody has a position in the play here. The problem is, I'll go to my own self, right? I said, as a team I was on one day, I was injured, right? We played up in Portland one day, and I got bridged in the game. I mean, I had a wrist injury. I could not move this thing 2 degrees, right? And I knew I was sitting out the next day, 2 days later, right? I knew I was sitting out because I had practiced for 2 days. I walked in the locker room, and they were like, "Yep, what are you doing?
You're good to go, right?"
I said, "What you mean?" They're like, "Oh, no. What do you mean you're not playing? Go see the trainer."
Facts.
He's going to tape it up for you.
Right.
I played in a game, like NBA game, Jay, with no use of the left hand. I'm basically playing out there with one hand because if you said you wasn't playing,
they looked at you funny.
Right? And I guess I'm playing today.
And to G. Bush's point, the dynamics of power and how that, I mean, to a certain extent, aren't we all a victim of that circumstance?
Yes.
Sure.
We are.
Yeah.
But I do think that, and I can't think of the player's name now. He works for ESPN. He retired at 32. He's a pretty good player, a name player too. I can't think of his name now. He just walked away from the game. he had some really strong comments about what he saw last night. And he talked about what you talked about, that there is some player responsibility. But he said, in no uncertain terms, players are going to play.
That's right.
That's what we do. We're conditioned to play. It is up to the system. The system failed
That's true.
Tua. The system failed him because there were a lot of safeguards in play. There was the team trainer. There was the head coach. There's the general manager. There's the owner. There's the independent review. Nobody stood up and said, you are not going on this field.
I still want to know how he got on that plane.
I know. It was dumbfounding to me.
Generally, since they've gone to this concussion protocol, it seems like it has worked more often than not.
We think it has.
But in this, it seems like it.
Yeah.
But this seems so bad, and you guys have kind of convinced me on this. But I will say, though, that part of the reason I thought, like, well, why didn't he say anything is because Emmanuel Acho this morning on ESPN, he just retired in the last couple of years. He didn't play in the league that long. But he made the point of saying that players now are much more aware of concussions and much more willing to say, hey, I can't, I can't go.
But it's still, the player's will is still to play the football game.
You're right.
So
luckily, his parents were there last night.
Yeah, I know. I thought that was interesting.
Luckily.
Do you remember when Colt McCoy is the guy that started all this?
Oh, my God,
he was.
Colt McCoy was concussed.
Steelers.
Everybody in the stadium knew it. They put him back in the game, and because of that, his parents made a big stink about that. Like, who's in charge with the Browns?
Yeah.
Who let my son go back into that war zone knowing that he was suffering from a brain injury? That's when the league said, we've got to do something. They put the protocol in. I think it's a safeguard, but the system is flawed, and last night the system failed the player.
They're going to make them come up with a mandatory. And this is going to say, if you got any symptoms, you out 3 weeks. No questions asked, no matter what you say. And some players are going to buck against that. I don't know if the NFL Players Association will have a problem with that. But when something like that happens
I think the association
they can't complain about the way this was handled and then be against that.
Thursday night football on national TV, you have that happen.
Yeah, it was bad luck.
It's going to be sweeping.
It didn't fail last night. It failed Sunday.
It failed Sunday, but it failed again last night.
Let me tell you.
It failed when he walked out onto the field last night. The system failed him. And so where the rubber meets the road on this issue is obviously we're talking about CTE.
Yeah.
That's the brain disease that when these we've had players that have committed suicide that know they're suffering from CTE. By the way, there's no test for CTE in the living. You can only tell by physically examining the brain. There have been players that Junior Seau, when they do commit suicide, they do it intentionally in their chest so their brain is preserved. Now, can you imagine going through that process?
Dave Duerson.
You know you're ill. Junior knew he was ill.
Yeah.
He wanted doctors to be able to look at his brain and see what the game did to him.
So did Dave Duerson in Chicago.
Dave Duerson, there's a number of, and they've concluded. Here's what the scariest thing about all of this is, guys. Boston University they've done the most research on brain trauma as it pertains to football players. This is where it really gets scary. They have studied a large number of former players' brains that are sent to Boston University. And I don't know the number. Maybe, McNuggets, if you can Google this, I believe it's in the 90 percentile of the brains that they have studied of former football players. And this includes all age groups. We're not talking about guys in their 60s and 70s. 30s and 40s. I believe it's in the 90s. I know it's a very high percentage of the brains that Boston University has looked at have CTE.
It's a car accident every day.
Yeah.
And so here's what's scary about that. You're more likely to develop CTE when you have concussions within a short time span.
Right.
I found it.
He had one Sunday. He had another one Thursday.
Yeah. Right.
What am I right on my memory?
Yeah, we got the quote, so we'll bring it back in 1 sec.
Okay.
But according to this study, researchers have found, quote, in more than 90% of former NFL players studied.
And here's why this is scary, guys. We know that there is a great deal of medicine and technology that's being put into this area. They will, doctors have said that study this, we will eventually have a test for the presence of the enzyme to detect CTE in the living. And this is where it really gets scary for the entire industry. When they do, and they start testing these guys in high school and college and in the pros.
They might all have it.
If the results of these studies are true, and we have no reason to think that they're not, if NFL players are testing even in the 50 percentile range, guys, football as we know it is done. It has to change. I know that you're looking at me like I'm got two heads right now, and nobody wants to be in that world.
I think already we know how dangerous it is for kids, and people still do it. So.
But it's black when it hit the paper. When black, it's something different when it hits black and white.
Yes.
Like we know cancer exists, but when you go to the doctor and you have to sit there with a family member, and they tell you, you like, oh,
and
Lord.
I don't know what the new form of football. I'm not saying the NFL will go away. I'm just saying that as we know it, it's going to change. It has to. And I don't know what that looks like. I know that there are a lot of companies that are investing tens of millions of dollars in helmet technology.
Right.
We've seen the helmet change.
Why do you think they have those practice pads on those helmets now?
I know. That's something that's new.
Right.
Maybe that's the new NFL. These guys are running around with sponge pads over top of their helmets.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I can tell you that Congress will step in if there is a test for CTE in the living, and the expectation is it's coming.
I would bet on all that.
And those numbers come back even close to the 90% of the brains that they've studied of former NFL players, it's going to be a reckoning for the sport.
They might put the Surgeon General.
And we got DeQuell back too. So
all right,
bring DeQuell back.
DeQuell, you heard what I just said. Am I completely off base when I say that?
Yeah, it's very alarming. And I was on a podcast earlier with Dominique Foxworth, who's employed by ESPN and these big networks, and he asked me the same question. He asked me a question in line with what you just spoke about. You know, how did I feel about seeing Tua go down, and what were my initial thoughts? And I couldn't help but think about, you know, all the guys that I know right now that doesn't make the news. It's not one of these big collisions that we see on Thursday night or Sunday night or Monday night. It's all of our buddies who are former players now who we have to deal with this. And I had to deal with an incident as recently as a month and a half ago where a guy was literally threatening to kill his family with a assault rifle, maybe 45 minutes away from me. So without involving, the NFL has networks, and through myself and Dominique Foxworth, who was a former NFLPA president, we got in touch with the right people to get people to come out there to try to de-escalate the situation. So this is an ongoing, this topic never ends. You know, my wife and I, we constantly are having conversations about, hey, you have to be the one to recognize a lapse in my behavior or memory. Or
have you seen any of that yet, DeQuell?
So I've dealt with it probably a year and a half ago. I was in this rough, like dark patch, and I just couldn't, it was a fog that I was dealing with. And so I got some help, got therapy help, got some other extensive help. And I was fortunate enough, and my wife was fortunate enough to be educated on it and to have the resources to know how to be proactive about it. Right. I didn't want to wait until it was at the very end to probably do something. I have that when it comes to my mental ability. And so I try to keep myself mentally active and or mentally stimulated for that matter. But the study you just spoke about, that's alarming. And I tell you what, a lot of guys who play the game, they know what they're signing up for, because you have to absolutely love the game to be able to sign up and say, you know what, I'm going to run into this individual as hard as I can and for as long as I can, and do it for years. I started playing this game when I was 7. I didn't finish until I was 34. So that's a big gap of just butting heads. And I played a position that, quite frankly, the offensive line, defensive line, linebackers, running backs, there's collisions every single play, every day.
DeQuell, you going to let your son play?
So that question is not an easy answer for me. Right. Before he was born, I would say no, because I know too much about what guys do to sacrifice days in order to provide for their families. And so what my wife and I have, now he's getting into it, right? And he likes to tackle me, and we like to play football. So, you know, I have this discussion with my good buddy, Dominique Foxworth, who lives around the corner. His son is at an age where he's 9. He felt the way I did before my son was born. I would say, no, I don't want my son to play this game. But if it's something they love to do, you have to support it, and you have to put them in leagues that understand how to tackle, because there's a lot that you can get out of football. You know, persevering, commitment, working with others. There's so many great qualities of playing sport. So it's going to be a tough decision when I have to make it, and it's not an easy question to answer right now.
Let me ask you a tougher question. So, in the African American community, I often say that when it comes to success, we know three things. You're either going to be in the street, you sell drugs, you're going to be some sort of rapper or entertainer, you're going to be a preacher or a pastor, and besides that, there was really no example of really making it. So in your case, you got an opportunity with your God-given ability to change your family. They're not just your family, generational, right? With that type of income.
Right.
Knowing what you know today, if they told you today, DeQuell, you got, it's a 50% chance or 75% chance you got CTE, and this is the step you're going to go through. Mm-hmm. Would you have done it the same way? Would you have played?
Yes, because what it does for my family and changing the way I live my life now, the things that I'm into, the way I travel, the way I eat, what I drink.
Right.
I'm willing to sacrifice myself for my family.
Wow. I've asked that same question, G, to a lot of players, and I've yet to hear a player tell me no.
And that's why I think the game's never going to significantly change.
Yeah,
well, I don't know that it will be up to the players, though. That's the thing.
Well, let me highlight you. Let me highlight you on this one thing, right?
Yep.
So, unlike the NBA guys, right? So we get the to me, it looks like this. For the sake of CTE, there has to be a major commitment from the NFL and the Players Association that we're going to do these things to make this game better, which may soften the game up a bit. The problem I see, DeQuell, one of the problems is that you guys don't get the guaranteed money, so you put a person in a bad position who is trying to keep the heat off of them and say, I'm trying to parlay this into a bigger play here. So the player is always going to say 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm all right. I'm good to go, right? And so does the money guarantee, does it help you guys? I know you guys, because I never understood it. You guys have said, give me the money up front as opposed to the guarantee where we say, no, guarantee the whole thing out for 7 years. I'm great, right? Now, if you get more guys like us that walk in, they feel injured now. That's why you see the guys in the debate. I'm not playing today.
Yeah.
I'm not playing today.
Well, that's because the NFL Players Union hasn't
held
together like the other
If they
unions.
held together and said, but when you get the money up front in a lump, you can get used to that, right? We get ours. We don't get ours in a lump. We get ours paid out over time. It's the same money, but it's over time, right?
Yeah, sure.
Does that help you? Does that not?
Right.
But things are better now, DeQuell, right? I mean, generally they've handled concussions better now, certainly than even when you played, don't you think?
Yeah, concussions from a systematic standpoint is a lot better than when I entered the league in 2006. But you still have, like to Brad's point, that dynamic of where are you financially?
Right.
That's
the problem.
And in Tua's case, he's an organization that started the season off 3-0. People were talking about him potentially being in the MVP conversation. And he understands, if I play well, that means more dollar signs. So I was trying to make, when you have a concussion and when you've had it to that level, you don't know what you've actually gone through. It's up to everyone else and doctors in place and players to say, you know what, take this guy out of the game. Because, and if a player does understand he dealt with some sort of concussion, he's going to say it's my neck or he's going to say it's my back. Or he's going to say it's anywhere else but his head.
Right.
That's an old school tactic to divert.
Yeah.
Old school trick to divert the conversation away from your head. Can I make this last point really quick to G's question? I want to elaborate on the last, when I said unequivocally I would play because I love the game. Well, it had a lot to do with my family situation as well.
Sure.
My family situation, work check to check. And so it was incumbent upon me. I felt like I was doing it for my family. So when you asked me that question, I'm thinking about my immediate family, how hard my family had worked to help me get to that point. And yes, I would still play because I loved the game and I was obsessed with it. But it had a lot to do with, and I think my opinion would probably change had I grown up as me as my father.
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to provide for my son, a different outlook. Not to say sports is the only answer.
And bro, we understand because you preaching to the choir. We understand where you are, right? We understand the dynamics of what you have to decide here. But I'm gonna say this again. Thank God his parents were there last night to quell. They're probably the only two honest brokers in the entire place last night.
They're going to tell them
Right.
what it is.
Thank God they were there last night.
Yeah,
right.
you're right.
Because that was a mess.
I'll tell you this: if it was my child, he's staying in the hospital overnight and he's not flying back with the team last night.
I can't believe they let him.
I'm stunned. I feel like that's another bad decision made upon a series of bad decisions. It's a horrible look. Keep him in the hospital for observation. Can you imagine, God forbid, if something happened on the plane when they were flying home? He'd have no immediate medical attention for him.
What I'm sure he was comforted by having his family at the game. And he was just trying to get home. That's all he was trying to do.
I understand that.
Right, but somebody there got to be logical.
We talk about the adult in the room, and what's ironic, and you brought it up, and I know that we bag on Baker Mayfield, and he's a very easy target, but Baker was going through the same thing last year. Yep. Baker knew he was in a play for pay deal,
right?
And there was no adult to say, Baker, look,
slow down.
We're watching with our own eyes what you can't see because you're too close to the fire.
But this is different.
I know it's different because it's the head.
Yes.
But it's the same thing.
Same principle.
All of these guys are behind the 8 ball. You got to think about it like this. We thinking about it, and a lot of fans don't understand. Yeah, they get paid more millions of dollars than I've ever seen in my life. Money is relative. When you work a certain amount and you make a certain amount, you spend a certain amount.
Sure.
Now you have a bunch of people in your family that you take care of, your mom, your cousins, your aunt, your grandma.
First of all, talk about Uncle Sam.
And that's half off bat.
You know what? DeQuell, tell us about that. People read 3-year, $18 million contract. Tell us how quick that money burns up.
Listen, for a 3-year, $18 million contract, 2 years of it may be guaranteed, and whatever that guarantee, you cut in half.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Gone.
$1 million it's $500 contract. There aren't the true numbers as the contract's number stated is. So, Uncle Sam definitely gets his cut.
And you pay the agent, and to your point, everybody has family.
Still trade places to have that money. Let's not get carried away.
I know, Bull, but
what he's saying is he put himself in that situation so his son doesn't have to make it.
I get it.
And so a lot of people,
I get it.
It's a noble sacrifice.
So a lot of people. So when his son comes up, his son don't got to play no ball.
Yeah.
He can just do some regular life. I go to school, your son, you good,
Right.
you okay. That's how you get to a point where one person makes a sacrifice.
We all want to make life easier for our kids.
So it's like this. My kids live a better life because what I did.
Absolutely.
And sometimes to the detriment, it come back to bite you because I was like, where that gritty grind at? Where that gritty grind at?
You're right.
Because I removed you from the gritty grind, right? Now I got to give another lesson like, what you doing over here?
Yeah.
This is not what's happening
Sometimes
over
you
here.
teach them by taking things away from them, which goes against the parents' instinct is you want to provide everything. DeQuell, I want to drill down on one more thing before we leave this topic. There is a stat, and again, I can't remember. I'm gonna repeat the numbers as I remember hearing them a number of years ago. McNuggets, maybe you can keep me honest on this. I read not long ago, a couple of years ago, that within 5 years, 3 out of every 4 retired NFL players are one of the following: divorced, addicted, broke, or jail. I don't know. I don't know, DeQuell, if you can confirm those numbers just from the folks that you played with that you know. These are huge, huge issues for guys that are making 7-figure salaries to think that a short time after they left the game that they could be one of those 4 things, and that high a number, that is alarming. Do you find that those numbers are somewhat accurate in your experience?
You know, it's hard to say because I think it all boils down to your support system, right? And I think we can all agree on that. Those numbers are high. And some of the guys I looked up to that played in Cleveland, that if they didn't have that support system,
man, I hate the signals.
As far as I know, the guys I've dealt with, they're not in any financial. They've had brain issues, man, and it's something that I'm reaching that 5-year mark.
As much as I hate to do it, McNuggets, we just
say once you reach that 5, 10.
DeQuell, I'm so
signal
sorry. The signal's just we can't discern what you're saying.
Yeah.
And this is such a serious topic that it deserves to hear all of your thoughts. And we will revisit this with DeQuell down the road when maybe next week if there's time. Because this is heady stuff.
I would say this: the numbers seem high, right?
Yeah.
They seem high, but to DeQuell, the point he's making, it is the system you're immersed in, right? Because, these kids come from areas of town that everything's glorified on TV. The big car, the big jewelry, everything.
Right. That's the culture.
So you think you get this money, you can't spend this money. Yes, you can spend this money, right?
Yeah.
Quicker than you think.
And then by the time you pay everybody, right? When I first came in the league, the federal income tax rate my rookie year was 52%.
For your income tax bracket, I bet it was over 50%.
52%.
Yep.
So when I got the first check, I was, what the hell is this?
Yeah, sure. Who's FICA?
I was like, what is this check? I was like, this is nothing.
Who's FICA?
Hey, well, who's the security? I didn't order security.
Yeah.
No, that's Social Security, son.
No, but it's alarming and it's a jarring lesson.
I can't feel bad for people making millions of dollars paying taxes. I can't feel bad.
Listen, I don't
Most
expect
people
anybody.
make no money, so
it's not about that. It's not here. You're on the wrong side of that because these are just regular kids off the block. That's all they are.
They don't know.
Right. What they do is put them in a position to
fail,
advance here. The problem is,
you're right.
Fail. Some people are brought up in this world here and have the luxury of being immersed in this thing before.
Yes.
You got people learning on the fly here.
Well, you know what? One of the problems with that is, let's give the credit to the NFL because they have recognized that there's a serious social problem with this.
Yeah.
They every year have a mandatory NFL rookie symposium. You have to go to this. It's multiple days. They bring in speakers, and they talk about a myriad of things. They bring in people to tell them about the traps and the pitfalls and all the people that now look at them as a big target. And that's an industry,
They
guys.
should learn how to manage their money and stuff like
well,
that.
I'm going to take it a step earlier.
Yeah.
When you go to college to get your degree, and you have to go to college for 3 years if you're going to go to the NFL.
Yeah.
I think that the NCAA needs to get involved, and the NCAA needs to mandate if you are a college football or a college basketball player, and maybe every athlete, because everybody can benefit from what I'm about to say. We're teaching them 4 semesters of a foreign language. I took 4 semesters of a foreign language in college. 16 credit hours of my 120 credit hours, which is more than 10% of my study, I spent in a Spanish class, and I couldn't speak Spanish in Spain today if I needed to for my life. It was a wasted life skill that college jammed down my throat.
Yeah.
Every NCAA athlete should have to take those 16 credits. We're going to waive your foreign language requirement. You're going to take 16 credits on life. And here's what it is: finance, social issues, how to avoid pitfall, whatever it is.
I think everybody should learn that in high school.
Listen, I do too. In high school, we're doing the same nonsense.
Well, you can't do that because the lower economic, socioeconomic places can't afford to do that, right? So
No. I'm talking about universities.
When he said in high school.
Well, I mean,
I know.
that's tough.
That's tough.
No,
I
it's
hear
hard
you.
to project a high school
But it's
kid's
more
going to go.
important than some of the other things kids
I would tell you,
life skills, how to balance a checkbook.
But you're in the cycle because the university wants you to churn it out to be ready on Saturday.
So I give you this. So let's go this route. Ohio High School Athletic Association just shot down NIL, right?
Yeah.
Which was stunner.
So you shot down NIL. For generations, you told college players they couldn't work a job, can't get no money.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. You got people that come up in better socioeconomic areas, and they done had a checkbook. When they didn't have
exactly
checking accounts when they was 12.
Knew exactly what it was.
They know how much money. This is how you balance your checkbook, son. This is your allowance. Guess what? We got people that's grown men, 21 years of age.
Don't know how to do that.
Who can't even sign their scholarship check because they ain't never had a bank account. Don't even know about it.
Or no support system around that you can turn to say, how do I do this?
So I think the support system comes from the same system that benefits on all of these players giving their blood, sweat, tears, and sometimes their sanity.
Agreed.
So they can make billions,
Yeah,
not millions,
it's a shame
billions.
that we got all these players
We've got to
losing
do
their
better.
money.
The NCAA has to do better, and the NFL has to do better. I know they don't care, but it's high time they do. It's high time they do.
Who get paid to care? High schools. So high schools, you get paid to do what the rest of it. Higher
That's
education.
what I'm saying. They should learn. They should be taught these things in high school.
But here, you can't teach a person if you don't give it to them. Every time you talk about giving a young black kid money, it's a problem. You think about why you can't give it to him.
It ain't just all the young black kids. They got young white kids.
No, but to G. Bush's point,
but the story is they cannot at that level do that. Here, even if I'm teaching you in high school, right, in a bad area, right, you have to practice it at some point. If I ain't got no money,
well, that's what G. Bush is saying.
Yeah.
Balance a checkbook. What is a checkbook?
I ain't got no money. How you balance zero?
Right.
I just think that the industry that has for decades churned these worker bees to the tune of billions of dollars needs to be more responsible and needs to better educate these kids so they can navigate all of the pitfalls that they are going to one day run into.
You would have to take money off the top to put into the system.
Fine, do it.
The people, though, that are getting the money are drunk off the money.
They are, but there's enough money there where they can do it. Then you know what? Then you unionize college athletics, and you just say, now how much do you like that money?
And is the players' union in the NFL doing enough to help the players?
No.
I'm not sure.
We've already established that.
I'm not sure the NFL Players Association has the players' best interest in mind.
I know, it's
and I'm not the
crazy.
first, and I won't be the last person to say that.
Brad,
if
so
they're
what
not,
are we doing?
If they're not getting this stuff in high school and college, then part of the rookie symposium should be how to balance a checkbook. It is all that stuff.
They talk about all that. They talk about how to hire an agent, what you should do with 10% of your money. Look ahead. This money's going to dry up.
But G
start
is right.
a 401k.
To some degree, like the more money you make, the more money you spend it.
Now, I'm going to tell you what.
Not to some degree, in all cases.
I think we can all agree last night was a travesty.
It was.
The whole nation.
And I hope we never see
it again. Myles Garrett can't
But I would tell you, but here, this what I was, I won't say I was angry, but I was disappointed. The Browns should have came out from the beginning. He's not playing on Sunday.
I know.
Yeah, why we even hear from Myles Garrett?
Why we guessing?
Not only right away, they haven't done it yet. And they might not do it until Sunday.
Oh, no,
and it's my fear that we might see him on the field. As much as we all want to see him there, he was involved in a car accident that lesser accidents have taken people's lives.
Yep.
Right. And
But what's funny is none of us said he shouldn't play until today, what we saw with Tua.
You know what?
No.
You know why?
Sparked it for us.
Because we, like the Dolphins, are drunk with what he brings us on the field. But last night was a clear...
oh, my God, he can't play.
It was a clear reminder to us. I'm thinking, our team right now is deciding whether or not number 95 can go.
Yeah.
And we just watched Tua, 4 or 5 days removed from what was clearly a concussion, out there on the field playing again. And by the way, he's taken bigger hits that did not lead to concussions. That's what I'm most fearful of.
And you know Myles wants to play too, but they got to stop him.
Somebody's got to be an adult and step up and say, he's not playing.
All right, that was a phenomenal pivot from what we.
It was a 45-minute change of where we were supposed to go.
No, but it was good, and I think it was necessary. DeQuell is in D.C., and with the hurricane coming up, I think weather was affecting this.
Okay.
We have to get the headlines, though, and DeQuell did send us a headline. So I'm going to read DeQuell's headline before we get to the rest of you guys. G will go first after this, then Jay, then Bull, then Brad, then we'll play a little game with Polk. But this is DeQuell's headline for Monday. I wish he could have been here to do it with us, but unfortunately he's not. DeQuell says,
like that.
No fly zone. Defense shuts down Falcons.
Good one.
I like it, but
uh-oh, he took yours?
Plagiarism.
I mean,
this was a Jets quote. I believe it was very close. He cannot get this unless he cites me MLA or CPA style. I need works cited pages from this.
Well, he didn't see your headline.
Oh,
it's just coincidence.
He watches it on TV.
Yes.
DeQuell watches every day.
Wait, can we go back to the headline? I love the subheads this week.
I actually didn't see the subheads.
I love the subheads.
I think they're the same. They're the same on all of them. So when we pull up the next one,
okay,
we'll see them again.
One of the McNuggets
by the way,
meets Post Malone and gives them UCSS T-shirt.
With all the guys missing on the defense, it's going to be pretty hard for that to come true.
I know it is.
That
they're going to be flying away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Duck hunt.
All right, G. Bush, you ready for yours?
Yes, sir.
I know you don't remember it, so let's just pull it up.
He caught the duck hunt reference.
The real deal.
Browns.
I don't know.
That's
That's not really what DeQuell had.
That's what I said.
No, he's
talking about
the
another
Jets.
time.
Oh, from your Jets.
Yeah.
I see.
He remixed it. He could put another.
Well, the
beat on
Falcons
it.
fly too.
I see. He was like, "Oh, that fly."
McNuggets
I
meets
see what you're
Post
saying.
Malone gives him T-shirt. Are you
That-
dead?
And look at Anthony. Anthony preparing for
true?
stand-up comedy.
So this is gonna hit hard because defense ain't here. Hey, you got a lot of people out, and Joku might not even be playing. But the question is all over the city: how long can this backup quarterback keep playing the way he has? 3-1 now behind his play. not just the team. It wasn't Chubb and Hunt.
Yeah.
It was the fact that he out here throwing for 250.
Yeah, I see what you did there. So the first couple of games, he might have been the reason they didn't lose, or the last, the 2 wins that they had. You're saying he's going to be the reason they win on Sunday.
That's a nice setup. Good assist.
Yeah, I feel
I'll vote for yours. I'm believing that potential.
Before we get to Jay's,
Y'all playing doubles over here? What's going on?
Hey, we're teammates in a little bit.
For the game, right?
before we get to Jay's, we have G's from last week. G, I'm not sure this is really plagiarism.
Oh, that's what is that?
I lied.
Okay.
I'm Matt Barnes. After I got some more information.
Apologies
about what happened.
He gotta go. He gotta go.
Yeah, it's,
I'm gonna need an apology.
I'm gonna apologize to DeQuell Jackson and his fan.
On the east side, take it back.
Yeah, for his family of really just slandering his character. Only problem I got with him is his internet is trash. Got that dial-up, man.
Yeah. Got the
Remember
AOL.
AOL?
He got the AOL connection.
Flipping them floppy disks.
I will say, if Judge Jay was ruling on this case, and he's not, but if
Yes.
he was, and this was like copyright infringement,
Yes.
like he stole my lyrics,
Yeah.
Come on.
you got no case.
I have
bro.
no
you're out.
case.
You got no case.
What you say? DeQuell got Comcast and that Xfinity?
Man,
What's the
my
deal?
gosh, bro. He still got Netscape Navigator.
Hey, G, DeQuell
Netscape
says check your phone. I
Navigator.
just sent you a message. So I don't know what kind of trash talk DeQuell's going to talk via text now.
Oh,
but
Yeah, now he's going to jump into the. Yeah.
You don't answer text messages. I barely get my good bad babe.
Yeah.
My phone is in the car or something, dead.
Not a
DeQuell,
surprise.
it's true. He'll answer you in 4
let's go
days
to
when
the
he gets
next
my
one.
bets
Who's
in.
next?
You are, Jay.
All right, here's my headline. Show it because I can't
Let's
remember.
take it
I
forward.
wrote it like 3 days ago when I thought everybody was going to play. Yeah, I think, just like you, I think they are going to win. I think it's going to be a close game. Myles away. He did not play in my scenario.
He
So,
just may.
While Myles was away, Chubb saves the day.
Hey, you got a little.
That's my headline.
I like you got a little alliteration in there.
Yes, I did.
You got
I went
you
for
know what
it.
I'm saying? I see what you did right there. Some rhyme fest. I like that.
His rap
Guys,
game.
wait until you see Mike Polk.
Oh, my
guy.
God.
I'm just going to say, if you're thinking, no, I'm not going to give away what you're doing. I'm just saying, if you're thinking about, I got to get back to work,
No.
or I got to leave I've seen enough.
You're not gonna wanna miss
just
this
stick
game.
around for Mike Polk. I don't take a shot of him. Mike wants it to be a surprise, Director Steve.
Thank you, Corey. Corey, stay in front of
Corey
him.
blocked your outfit. Oh, it looks like you're ready
All right,
for
hit the
a
next
game
one.
show. One of the things.
Before we go next, real quick,
Okay.
DeQuell says, if G doesn't have his phone, I'll just tell you what I told him. There is no plagiarism going on, my friend. Stop living in the past. I got you, DeQuell.
There's one reference on our subheads. If you could take my headline again, it says Anthony gets ready for stand-up.
Yeah.
If you don't know what that means, so in our fantasy football league, the person that finishes last has to do a stand-up comedy routine at I'm guessing a club that Mike chooses.
Yeah,
here
Mike's
in
gonna-
Cleveland.
they're gonna
open for
Mike is
He's
the
gonna
king
open
of the
for Mike,
comedy
yeah.
scene here in Cleveland.
That's so funny.
Anthony, if he finishes in last, will have to do a comedy set.
I am
right.
going to that.
I'm going and I'm bringing tomatoes.
Oh, I'm bringing family members. Listen, that is
Let me
hilarious.
make sure
It's
I
going to be
stay
the
out
most
of that
packed of
last
Monday
position.
stand-up has ever been at whatever club we're going to.
I can't wait.
Can you imagine Brad in there? He came in last, he in there doing civil rights jokes.
Brad, it might be you. I mean,
No, I'm hanging around 3, baby.
are you 3-0?
I was hanging around 1.
2-1.
I was in 3rd or 4th place. I'm okay. I'm okay, baby.
So I'm less interested in who's going to win our league than I am in who's going to finish last.
Yeah, right.
That's what I'm interested.
That's
And we
good.
got 2 more headlines on what the internet says before
Yeah.
Polk. So, Bull,
Yeah.
my early favorite. Let's take Bulls.
Okay, here we go.
Wow, you already picked a
Early
winner.
favorite?
Falcons chunted.
Oh, no. That's the word we banned from this show.
I brought it back.
We banned it, I
I
thought.
thought it was funny, so I
And
brought
then
it
he
back.
uses an adjective. You can't use that.
Shunted.
He created a verb. I love it.
He did.
Chubb and Hunt steamroll Falcons.
I thought that was outlawed.
Yeah.
I had to bring it back for this because
so
the only way they're
many.
going to win this game, and I think it's going to happen, is I think they're going to combine for over 250 all-purpose yards between them.
All right, so
Well, that
so-
would be
hold- hold-
Yeah.
So can you come up with a monetary amount of yards or touchdowns that denotes that you can now say
That you've been
were,
chunted?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is that? For
I
you?
would say total yards.
200.
200 is chunted.
And 3 TDs.
If they get to 250, you're super chunted.
Jesus Christ. I swear to God.
Extreme chunting.
300 Hall of Fame chunting.
So you need 200 and how many touchdowns? Want to go with 3 before you're officially chunted?
I think 3 would be good. That's appropriate.
Okay, but other than that word is officially banned from the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, unless a team gets shunted.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think shunt should be banned, but shunted
There you go.
is okay.
Yeah. You
As a
invented
noun,
that.
No more nouns. Only verbs.
Only verbs.
Only verbs.
Right. And if you're talking about it on the 2-minute warning show, which I encourage everybody to watch, a reminder, at the 2-minute warning of the Browns-Falcons game, every game, go to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show channel and watch the final 2 minutes with these guys. It is off the chart entertaining.
Jay.
Subscribe to our YouTube page and hit the notifications button. This is every single game. And there's Adam looking like he's ready to eat McNuggets again.
The views here are expressly those of the
Adam
co-host, not of the station.
Hey, you're my teammate today, Brad, so it's on you, too.
You can use chunted on the pregame show. You just can't use it on the 11 to 1 show.
Whoa.
Or chunt.
No chunt. No
Yeah.
chunt.
Yeah, please
No
don't.
John.
Please don't.
Well,
so
we'll get to
dangerous.
Brad's real quick. Brad followed a similar lead as Bull, but was much more PG. So let's take Brad's.
His is Disney.
Quite.
Mine is Skinamax.
I like all the people. Browns ground the Falcons. Chubb runs wild back home in the dome.
Oh, I like that. Okay, that's fresh.
Hey,
He's going back home on Sunday.
Yeah.
I see what you're doing. Everybody want to rhyme. Everybody got bars.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Everyone has bars.
Lyrical assassin, baby.
Yeah,
Lyrical assassin.
No, that is good. I like that. I mean, if that's the way the game plays out, it's going to be between.
I think Chubb
Right.
is going to have a great game. Listen, when you get a chance to go back home and play, not only he's from Georgia,
Yeah.
that turf.
now he's playing back on that turf in Georgia.
First
playing the
time
dome.
ever playing
He's
there
like,
since-
he's gonna run wild. He's gonna run wild. So I'm like, okay.
First time playing there in the NFL.
Right, in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
I think he might have played there. You think
I would guess he would have
SEC
played. I would
championship?
guess
come on
he's
now.
played in the
Probably.
in an SEC.
He has played in the Georgia Dome.
Probably played there in high school.
Do we know what he did? What he did when he played in the Georgia Dome?
I will
before?
look it up, but Georgia plays there every year at least once.
But they've
a year.
only the Browns have not played in Atlanta since 2014. I
Yeah, it's
think.
been a long time.
Yeah.
All right, so
right,
we got to do what
so-
the internet says real quick.
I wonder, can
All right, what the
Watson,
internet says-
and tell
Watson
Mike
go to the
Polk.
game?
What's that?
Can Watson go to the game?
No, well,
No.
I guess
Unless he
buy a
buys the ticket.
Yeah.
If he buy a ticket, can he go?
Yeah.
I think he probably could.
He should stay out of Atlanta.
Yeah, don't go to
call.
Atlanta.
Good
There's a
call.
lot of pitfalls in Atlanta.
I know Mike Polk can't hear me, but we're going to take Tagboard Full in a sec. As soon as Mike
Okay.
Polk sees full screen, tell Mike to sit down and get ready. So.
Okay, so as soon as we do this little full screen thing, you're gonna resume your role as game show host. That's an epic outfit, man.
It is time
That
for
is
what the
so
internet is
good.
saying. Are you looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits? PCC Airfoils is the leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils at Eastlake, Mentor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up, plus full benefit packages, paid time off, and signing bonuses. You can apply online at precast.com/careers. Steve, let's take the question full so we don't get anything away. Don't give anything away.
No,
Take
let's
the
just get to
question
it because I want to get
It
to Mike.
doesn't matter.
Yep.
Let's-
Yeah.
The final score of the Browns-Falcons game will be blank. Get it exactly right. We'll send you a T-shirt.
Did anybody get it right last week?
No one got it. We only had one person get it right so far in 3
Okay.
games. We had over 200 responses this week, and we're going to see them.
All right.
First is from Scott Allen Hill, 24-20
I could see that.
Browns.
Always got to be worried about people with 3 first names.
Scott Allen Hill.
Or
Well,
3
Hill
names.
isn't a
I'm
first
sorry.
name. Yeah,
sorry.
3
3
names.
names.
Chris Truman, 35-24 Browns.
I could see that.
Okay.
Corey Durig, 24-14. Chubb,
like that.
another 2 touchdowns, 100-yard performance.
All right.
Got a couple more here.
Nothing outrageous yet.
Let's take. Why is this not going live? Okay, here we go. How about 28-10, Cleveland till the casket drops? That's from Ellis in Orlando.
Shout out to Ellis in Orlando. I see you, big homie.
You know that dude?
Yeah, man. Get better from that hip surgery too, man. I see you walking around.
Wow.
Specific.
It's like a free cameo, right? A free cameo
He is
shout
the best
out.
of
Mom's
people.
feeling better
To the
after
casket drops, man. That's my guy, man.
Ellis, get that hip fixed.
Yeah.
That dinner you had.
All right, we got 2 more. This is from Dan Berger, Falcons 26. Falcons 26, Browns 36.
Those are odd score numbers to get to.
36.
I mean, we're missing extra points. We're getting safeties. The whole gimmick there.
And we had over 200 answers.
How many picked the Falcons? 2.
1. And
One.
here it is.
Wow.
Just for
We are
safe
we're all
Clee
homers.
Curses. Falcons
That's amazing that
27,
only
Browns
one person
24.
picked the Falcons. It's only a 1-point spread.
There's some people in their heart of hearts feel the same way. They just fake it in
don't
front.
wanna
Yeah, well, here's what scares me. 200 responses, one picked the Falcons. That's 99.5%. That number's too close to the 99.9.
Not a
number that
single
we all
person
hate.
picked the Jets, by the way. We had 200 responses on that one, and not a
Smoke,
single
too.
person picked
And
the Jets.
everyone was wrong.
Yes.
Okay, now I'm terrified.
All right, let's get Mikey in to make us
All
laugh
right.
here.
No problem.
Look at this.
Welcome.
This
Go
is the
ahead.
game. Ladies and gentlemen, your host for our game show, Mr. Mike Polk.
Hey everyone. Thank you for being here.
know we
And
are.
thanks for having me.
There you are.
Can you wait? Can you stand
I
up and
love
show
that
the
bow
entire
tie.
outfit?
All right, I'll dance for you, Papa.
Thank you. So you got to take note of the orange belt.
Yeah.
Those are brown corduroys.
Corduroys, yeah.
Yeah.
Left over from probably the 90s.
Bro,
Yep.
he got quarter.
Somewhere around
Orange
there. I
socks.
got these at the
Fantastic.
merry-go-round at the
Bro-
mall.
Oh, I didn't see the socks.
Merry-
That was
Oh,
so
orange
specific.
Long live merry-go-round, by the way, for those of us old enough to remember it.
That's where I got my outfits for like homecoming
And prom, yeah,
stuff like that.
absolutely, yeah.
Okay,
Anything that-
gentlemen, we're gonna play a game here today, a very important game because we had obviously
gotta
some
win, man.
unfortunate situation go on with Myles Garrett this past
kind of
week,
game is
and
this?
he's fine. Thank you. He's not gonna play obviously, but he is fine, and that's the important thing.
That is
He
important.
was cited though for failure to control a vehicle, and we learned that he's been stopped more than 7 times for speeding since joining the team in 2017, including twice within a 24-hour period where he was going over 100 miles per hour down in Medina. I guess just like getting his rocks off, doing his Fast and Furious thing.
2
down there.
speeding tickets over 100 in 24 hours.
It's pretty, yeah.
Guess he learned his lesson.
My man loves to cruise. Well,
Man.
so anyways, that's he's not the first, obviously, athlete to run afoul of the law,
Right.
In Cleveland sports history. And in fact, a lot of them did, if you actually look back. And I thought I would test your knowledge of crimes committed by
Oh, no.
former athletes.
Love it.
Okay.
Love it.
So Cleveland crimes.
These are little legal transgressions, more than crimes necessarily. I was a little light housekeeping. First of all, I didn't pick any nasty crimes, obviously. It's
Yeah.
a Friday. Let's keep it loose. No murder. Nothing
Yeah.
sexy.
Right.
Yeah.
These are all, I'm not saying they were victimless.
No balconies.
Yeah, no balconies involved, anything like that. Dante Stallworth is not an answer on here, I
Okay.
promise you.
Okay, good. Yeah, good. I'm glad we left him
I-
because I was literally wondering, did he go there?
I have to jump in here.
Yeah, go
so,
ahead, go ahead.
So we're doing the crimes of athletes.
Yes,
What
absolutely.
about the crimes of the media folk?
Oh, no, this isn't.
Let's do
We got Tony
that.
Rizzo on there.
Let's do that.
Oh, by the way,
Shots fired.
by the way, if you guys aren't mature enough to handle this, I'll pack this vest up and go home.
No. Oh, no, we're ready.
It's all light
Wait,
crime.
I just have
That's
one
light
question
crimes.
before we start.
Go ahead.
Brad's not on there, is he?
Not that. You'll see.
I know,
Light crimes.
I know speeder.
Just to cover our collective butt
Okay.
legally here, I want to try and get in front of this before
Okay.
anybody might throw any libel lawsuits
Right,
at us.
exactly.
When I say felonious Cleveland athletes, I am by no means suggesting that any of these people are actual felons or that they were committed or they've committed felonies. I'm using felonious in the broader sense as it is related to or involved in crime as the Oxford Dictionary online here represents. It's online, so it must be true. So that's what I mean. I'm not saying these people are felons.
Okay.
And also my views do not represent the views of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, WKYC 3 News, NBC
like
Universal, Tegner Incorporated, or any of these gentlemen on the dais today.
Thank you for taking us off.
Okay, that's done.
Now that that's done.
Now
Let's
let's
get
get
to
to it.
Here's the game.
I feel good about this one.
Here's the game.
Slander away.
I am going to describe either legal transgression or I'm going to describe the athlete. Oh yeah, I made a slate for it. And by the way,
Russell.
yeah, he did not commit any felonies. He just looks awesome.
By the
so
way,
I
his
included him in
brother.
that.
By the way, his brother was a Major League Baseball player too.
Yes.
Rick Russell.
Rick Russell.
They were teammates on the Cubs.
Yes, they were.
And they both looked the same, basically.
There's no truth to the rumor that he also in the offseason worked as a high school shop teacher. Right. He did not.
No.
I know he looked like he did, but he
Love
did
those
not.
baseball. I think I have that baseball card in my house.
Guys, you know how depressed I am right now that I never pitched in the major leagues and that dude did
Hey,
for a
well,
long
was
time.
the 70s.
Hey, we got 10 questions to get to. Let's
All right, here we go. Let's go.
Okay,
All right.
let's let Polk play this.
Okay, so here's how it works. You're each going to take a turn.
Yeah.
And you get to guess either the athlete or the crime, depending on what I ask.
Okay.
And if you get it right, you get a point. If you get it wrong, the other team gets a chance to steal.
Okay.
There are 8 questions. Most points at the end wins. I have a tiebreaker because I think of everything.
Okay, beautiful.
Okay.
Let's go. Who
So,
goes first?
who wants to go first? You guys tell me.
You guys go first.
There's no
Let's get
advantage.
it.
All right,
we'll go first.
Let's put the pressure on that right away.
First one. This former Brown and Buckeye was maced by police and arrested for getting too rowdy at Ted Ginn Jr.'s birthday party at the House of Blues in Cleveland.
Bro.
I know. Former Brown and Buckeye maced by police. Too rowdy.
Okay, so he must have played in the Ginn era.
Yeah, yep. Glenville cat.
House of Blues. Don't know who was performing that night. Just
him because hold on. Nope.
Just a reminder.
Who was the former
This
Buckeye?
doesn't matter.
He's now with the Saints.
Hey, Polk, this music's
got
great.
arrested
Great
on the
choice.
gun.
What?
Great choice on music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good.
He's
I'm
a
glad it's
defensive
working.
back for the
That's it.
Saints right now.
They said former Brown.
Let's go with that. Wait, he's never played with the Browns. Yeah, he's never played for
Hey,
the
Former
There's a shot clock,
Buckeye
guys. Come
and
on.
Brown.
Oh,
I'm going to
there's
have
a
to call
shot clock?
time.
Yeah, you don't have
I'm
20
going to have
minutes.
to
We got a
call
show to
time.
finish.
What is your answer?
If we pass, do we not lose the point?
No, you don't get a point. You can just pass. Just pass.
We don't
pass.
have. I don't.
Do you have
I
an
don't know.
answer?
We don't lose a point for
You don't lose a
Vegas.
point. Take a guess.
The only name that came to me, it's probably wrong, but the only name that came to me is maybe Brian Rabisky.
No.
Is your guess?
We'd like to go ahead and answer. We'd like to submit our answer.
It's already passed.
They already
Go.
passed.
Answer.
I can't think of anybody else. Brian Rabisky.
Nope, it was Dante Whitner.
Oh,
We were
going to go.
Playing, and DeQuell got that right.
I should have had
Of
that.
course he would get
DeQuell
that
got
right.
that
All
right.
right,
I was
there
going to
we
go
go.
Terrell
No points
Pryor.
awarded. Moving on
we
to
go.
the mayor and the bull. This former Brown safety was arrested for disturbing the peace and misdemeanor assault at a Denver gentleman's club after he became outraged that he was not allowed to bring his own alcohol into the establishment.
Wow.
I don't know if it
Oh.
helps. I don't know if it helps, but the club's name was PT's All Nude Club.
I think I know it.
Now I know it. BTs.
Who would it be?
Do you know who it is?
I have no idea.
Mike Adams.
It is actually TJ Ward. I'm
Oh
sorry.
wait.
You didn't get a
I
chance
would like to
guess.
try to steal
It's
that,
too
and I'm
late.
going to go with TJ Ward.
It's late. It's late. No points
I
awarded.
should've known TJ
No,
We got it.
No
I'm
points
letting us
awarded. I screwed up.
All right,
Denver
okay.
was the clue in that, obviously,
Yes.
if you guys listen. All right, moving on.
Yes, I know I screwed that up.
We're all learning as we go. Number 3, no points.
Stop looking at his sheet.
I'm not
On
looking.
January, I know, I
saw that, Brad.
January 5th, 2021, former Browns receiver Rashard Higgins, a.k.a. Rashard Hollywood Higgins, a.k.a. Rashard, thought I got away from Baker, but he followed me to North Carolina. When will this nightmare end, Higgins? Was stopped by Westlake police and cited for the first-degree misdemeanor of drag racing with a fellow Browns teammate who was also cited. Which current Cleveland Brown was it?
Remember that? It wasn't that long ago.
Drag racing.
It was in the season too.
It was in the season.
In season.
A crime from the 1950s.
2000.
Drag racing.
It had to be somebody. They hang together with each other, so it had to probably be another receiver.
I really thought it was a lineman for some reason.
I really thought that I thought that these were too easy, and I wouldn't have known these, but I thought you psychos would
Yeah,
know
we
these.
were
Like,
doing
oh,
poorly.
Yeah, I thought for sure G
Okay,
was
so
gonna kill all of these.
take a guess.
I think I know.
Um,
You know?
Who would it be?
I think it's probably right. Someone in the receiver room.
is it Cordell Hodge?
It is not Cordell Hodge. What is your
That was a
answer?
good guess.
Jedrick Wills.
Jedrick Wills is correct.
Yeah!
Remember I said I thought it was a lineman.
Yes!
I thought it was a
You know
lineman.
why? You know I'm no good at this.
Why is that?
I see too much of the crime blotter now. I'm not.
Yeah, that's true. You know.
Please together.
That's all.
That's all right.
That was a good. I would have never guessed.
No,
Jedrick Wills.
I hope there are no
I knew
crimes
when
that are
Jason-
committed in Brad's
When
jurisdiction.
Jay said it was a lineman, I'm like, oh, I remembered
right,
it was
moving forward,
I
John.
remembered it was a lineman. I couldn't think for sure who it was, and I'm like, who's the youngest
I
lineman?
remembered lineman too.
We
but
have
that
a
was it.
hard out at 1.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, moving on.
DeQuell is 2 for 3.
Your question. In 2012, this future Cleveland Brown was arrested and jailed in Texas for getting into a fight and having a fake ID card. He reached a plea deal in July of 2013 in which he pleaded guilty to failing to identify himself. Everyone's cheating and looking.
No, that was earlier.
I'm going to have to call time.
Can we get a
gentlemen.
shot clock over
I
here?
guess?
Going to have to call
Yeah,
time.
go
Take a
ahead,
guess.
Peyton Hillis.
Peyton Hillis is not correct, but good guess.
Okay, can you read the whole question
Here's
again?
the question again.
Brad, no looking at the sheet.
In 2012, this Cleveland Brown was arrested and jailed in Texas for getting into a fight and having a fake ID card.
Was he a Brown at the time of
This
the arrest?
future Cleveland Brown.
It was Johnny
Johnny
Manziel.
It was Johnny.
Yeah, there we go, baby. There we go. Nice. I had to clarify.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
Moving on.
2012.
So it's now 1-1.
feel
Someone else
bad.
keep score, please. I will. All right.
He's got enough going on.
Next thing, I'm trying to bat down looky-loos. Okay, here we go. And he's so tall, like he can get everywhere.
I know, he
That's
can
the
still
problem.
see.
He's doing this.
In August of 2018.
No, you're reading it to them now.
In August, no, you, right? Because they.
Oh, yeah, we
they
stole
started.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you stole that.
J and G.
Yeah. All right.
In August of 2018, linebacker Michael Kendricks, then on the Cleveland Browns, was charged with this unique crime.
Damn it, I know that one.
2018 linebacker, everyone's favorite Cleveland Browns.
What was the name again?
Michael Kendricks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right.
Insider trading.
Insider
Yes.
trading is going
Yeah,
very specific
the former Seattle
threat.
Seahawks.
Yes.
Just when you thought the Browns couldn't get any weirder, one of our linebackers
Was embezzling.
was embezzling somehow. He allegedly made
Which is
$1.2
different
million.
from shunting.
Took $1.2 million from illegal investments.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
When
That was a good move by the Browns to bring him in.
2-1, I believe. When this former Cavalier was pulled over on his three-wheeled motorcycle for a traffic violation in September of 2009, he had a 9mm Beretta in his waistband, a .357 Magnum revolver strapped to his leg, and a Remington 870 shotgun in a guitar case slung over his back. Who was it?
We know who this is.
Oh,
Easy
man,
money.
Brad, I need you on this.
Easy
Is
money.
the sun
I
cheating?
feel like I should know.
No cheating from the gallery. We know it.
We already
Yeah,
got this.
we already got it.
This
I not
easy
know that
money.
one.
Thank you. Good close-up.
You said former Cav?
This, yeah, he's
Great
not a
Cavs
Cavalier.
No. I mean, at the time he was a former
He was
Cav?
a former Cav at the time.
Okay.
Easy money.
Three-wheeled motorcycle, large three-wheeled motorcycle. I'm gonna have to call time.
Ricky Davis.
That's a great guess, but
That's
that is not
Delonte
right.
West,
Delonte
It is
100%.
Delonte West.
Omar,
100%. I can't
Omar
believe
from
that
the
you guys
wire.
don't
You
remember
didn't get
that.
He
The
had
guitar case and the
He had,
long rifle.
They
He
made
was
jokes
a
about
unique-
how strapped he was.
He was
Terrible.
a unique guy. West contended that he was moving the weapons to a different location for safety purposes. I checked and he's still alive. or else that would've been a-
Antonio
Because
Banderas.
he's a little loopy.
Desperado.
He is a little loopy.
I thought that might be
Do we have
dark.
enough to come back? Is there 2 more questions or no?
Yeah, there are.
For the record,
so
there's 2 more questions,
it's
right?
3-1, right?
It's 3-1. You need them both.
Okay, so here we go, and it's your turn.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
got that one right,
Yeah.
too.
Okay. Here we go. In October of 1995, former Indian Albert Bell was fined $100 for reckless operation of a vehicle for doing this.
He was chasing kids. They hit a kid after they took paper in his house.
Yeah, it was after they.
I'm
I'm
gonna
going to put all that together into an answer, and yes. you're
Yeah.
right.
All right,
They
baby.
got the easy questions.
You're right. All right.
We pride in knowing the
Look at the
crime
studio audience
water.
going
I
nuts
see
over
that.
there. Look at the studio audience just off the chain. Wow.
I see some people starting to
Damn.
Okay, here you go. Let's
G.
play.
Bush and I are.
Send me
We
Sosa.
read the crime blotter.
Let's play it out. Let's play it out.
Play
right?
it out.
We got
Play it out.
We got. Yeah.
All right,
let's
here we
play
go.
it out. Let's see. Let's get a final score.
Yeah,
right now
here
it's
we go.
4-1.
We're the masters of crime.
Okay. So we got your last question, guys.
I'm like bitter that we're losing.
I know,
Very
you gotta
bitter
let
right
me
now.
You're pissed.
In 20, well, here you've got this. This is a layup. For
All
you.
right, we're
In
doing
2013, this former Indians pitcher was found guilty of receiving a package of marijuana.
Chris Perez.
Yeah.
Allow me to finish the question for the audience. In
You don't get
2013,
4 points for
this
that.
former Indians pitcher was found guilty of receiving a package of marijuana mailed to his Rocky River home that was addressed to his dog, and that was Chris Perez, and the dog's name was Brody.
That's right.
I should have done the dog's name.
By the way,
of
speaking
you.
of which, I got a text from one of the Guardians beat reporters when we were on the field yesterday saying, you might become the first person since Chris Perez to vomit on the mound.
Also, do we know
Yeah.
if the information that I believe Jason gave us yesterday is that for air? Is that for us to say yet or no?
Just
I
say
don't think
it.
so.
He
It's
couldn't
not
If we
for
have
don't
said
know,
it.
don't risk
Yeah,
it.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I better not.
No,
'Cause
no,
it's
no.
big news. I
Yeah,
wish
yeah.
Jason was here because I would love for Jason to be able to
Yeah,
to
no, I
break
don't
it.
think so. We could text them.
But-
But.
All right, gentlemen,
Yeah.
congratulations. 4-2 was the
Ah,
final.
nice job.
You guys collect this trophy that I had made. I had this made.
That goes on the set, kids.
Mikey, I have to expense this, by the way. I paid $275 for this, and no, I don't have a receipt. McNuggets.
Hey,
Just deal
Wait,
with it.
what does it say on
Here,
the
go ahead.
bottom?
It's whatever's the name of the show.
Bowling
It says-
Name that felonious Cleveland athlete champs.
Oh, it says,
Oh, you really had it made for this?
No.
And he didn't pay $275 for it either.
Here. Oh, some of it wiped off.
Hey, Paul
Good
Russell,
final
there he is
slate.
again.
First of all, I want to thank you for bringing back the memory of Paul Russell. I haven't thought about him in 30 years.
Here, interesting tag on to that. He and his brother, I read this when I looked
Yeah.
him up yesterday to see if he really was a felon. He and his brother are the only brother-brother duo to combine for a no-hitter. They did it with the Cubs. Yeah.
Didn't even remember
Was
that.
there another pitcher involved, or was it just the two of them?
No, his brother pitched into the 7th, and then he relieved him and ended it, and they pitched a no-hitter together.
Man,
brother
can
was
you
the
imagine
brother-brother team.
the Thanksgiving dinner after that, if he'd have blown the no-hitter?
yeah.
God, yeah.
That wouldn't have been pretty.
Congratulations, guys.
Good
Yeah,
job, guys.
absolutely.
Hey, we want to.
Great game, Mike.
We want to
That
thank
was
a couple.
fun.
We want to thank a couple people.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Really
we
milking it.
want to thank
All of the felons.
We want to thank all of the
First
fellas,
of all.
allegedly. We want to thank Don Cornelius and the group Color Me Bad.
There, very good. Finally
trade. That's a great trivia question. You can win a lot of beer off that one. The question is,
you have to find the right nerds.
Which brother combo?
They're the only brother combo.
I guarantee you, everybody would say, "Oh, that's Gaylord and Jim Perry."
Yeah, it'd be somebody,
you know.
And then you show them that guy's picture, and they're like, "What?
That dude did not pitch a no-hitter."
Right.
I'm even more depressed now.
No.
I'm even more depressed.
Are there any brothers in any league that both made the Hall of Fame?
Brothers?
Well,
in baseball,
Tommy Aaron obviously did not. I'm just thinking baseball right now. Dom DiMaggio did not.
No. I can't.
Brothers. That's a tough one.
That's a very good
I don't know.
question.
The Boone brothers, no.
No.
Do we
Is
have
it
a
just
father-son combo? Because I don't
Any
think
of
Ken
them.
Griffey Sr. is in the Hall
Well,
of Fame.
Mark and Paul Gasol will both be there.
Well, but the Basketball Hall of Fame doesn't count.
Then, of
Like,
course, the Lopez brothers.
Polk's
Obviously,
going in the Basketball Hall of Fame before it's all said and
the
done.
Lopez brothers will go in
Only
together,
baseball
obviously.
and football count.
Okay, baseball and football.
No
Are
offense,
there
Brad.
are there any like? There's no brothers.
I bet there's not.
No black people?
No.
That's what I was really fishing for. I'm like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
When you say brothers,
In the
But
Football
be more
Hall of Fame?
specific. Not yet.
Are there
I don't think there's brothers, and I don't think there's a
Father-son.
father-son duo.
No, Hank Aaron's brothers not in the Hall of
I
Fame.
can't think
But
of.
both Matthews could break that up.
I feel
get
like there's gotta
sneak Clay
be.
in
Wait
there.
a minute.
Get Clay in.
Wait, I think two of the Matthews brothers might all. Bruce is in.
Bruce, yeah.
And the other brother that's in.
Well, Clay ain't in yet.
No, I know, but there were three brothers. There were Bruce, Clay, and wasn't there another one?
I don't think so.
No, I
You
guess
gonna-
not. My
you
memory's.
gonna get-
There are no brother. Eli and Peyton.
The
will be
Mannings.
first.
The Mannings.
Oh, there we go. Eli and Peyton.
Eli and Peyton will be the first.
And
one.
wait a minute. Is Archie in the Football Hall of Fame?
No.
He just got big
He
name.
played for.
I wouldn't vote for Eli, by the way.
Played for
Can I
such
just
a
say how
bad
great I
team.
look sitting casually in this
Yeah,
chair
like,
in this
you know
what you
outfit
look
on the
like?
set right now?
You look like the commercial where
I keep getting a look at her.
the barbershop quartet
Yes.
for the Ford commercial.
Howdy.
Liberties in Aurora, Maple Heights.
Solid.
Don't advertise for them unless they
No.
pay for it.
That's
Shut up,
true.
you guys.
Hey,
Shut
hey,
up.
you're right.
Hey, come on up here. We accept all that. We'll do the job.
We'll finish that song for you.
You know what? The Liberty Ford Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show does have a ring to it.
Oh, listen, what are you talking about? It
Now-
sounds
They'd
great.
be wise to go that way.
Imagine
Yeah.
we do a camera thing where we have four bulls doing the barbershop quartet, and he's doing all four parts.
I love it.
We
Now
can do
that-
And you know what? With
I can't
props
hit the high
like
notes,
this
so.
trophy and games like the one you just played, who wouldn't want ownership
I
of this
know, that's
program?
right.
I mean, it's
I can't
pretty
imagine.
much.
Fools who hate money, Jay. Fools who hate money.
You're right.
That.
Mike, that was awesome.
That was a great
Kudos
game.
to you,
absolute
Mike. That
game.
was brilliant.
You guys are doing okay too.
If you come back and bring it back, does Bull have to get another partner? Are you predetermining his
You know what?
Look.
I'm gonna let the commissioner think about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be who's sitting on.
I'm going to
Who's
protest.
sitting here with me on a particular day?
I'm going to protest all crimes. I'm not doing no crimes. All right?
That's totally fair.
Let's get something relevant. all
Yeah,
right?
very
I
good.
see-
Polk,
I see
that was
crimes
awesome.
all
Hey,
So
the
we're going to
time.
go from Mike Polk, the architect of our new favorite game,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Koby Altman, the architect of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Well done.
On,
well done.
On
Using
Monday,
the Mike Brady architect bridge, that was brilliant.
Brad got us an exclusive one-on-one with the GM of the Cavs. Let's take a listen.
That was exclusive? Wow. You didn't talk to anybody else?
Great, Mike. That was
Brad,
awesome.
you're the man. Mike, that was awesome.
Hey, your mics are hot.
Brad Sellers, Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show here with the architect of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Koby Altman, who's put this special team together. Coach, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Brad. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, so let's get down to the nuts and bolts of this. You've pulled off the deal of the century here. You put the Cavaliers in a position to move forward. Talk about how you constructed this team and how the deal came about.
So, I mean, going, I'd say 3 years back before we even get to the Donovan piece, we were fortunate in terms of our ownership and chairman and Dan Gilbert. After the 4-year finals run, he let us reset, recalibrate, and build to the draft. And you know, our goal was to have sustainable success with this franchise and to do it through the draft. And we've had some pretty remarkable drafts. Obviously, the two best guys we got out of the draft with Darius and Evan Mobley have made real jumps in their careers, specifically Darius last year. And so to have pillars in your organization through the draft was a big step. Grow the culture, grow the player development, put them in a position to be successful. But we've been also very opportunistic in the trade market. And so when Jared Allen became somewhat available, we kind of creeped into that deal too. And got Jared here, really changed the trajectory of our rebuild, if you will. And then the Donovan Mitchell trade was just a incredible, unique opportunity that we felt we couldn't pass up, knowing we'd be able to keep Darius, Jared, and Evan.
So let's talk about that, because I'm glad you said it. Youth, ability to project forward. Talk about how difficult that is to get guys in their mid-20s to be here at an all-star level and have a position to acquire them and then move the team forward.
So I think what's really unique about this situation, what's super exciting for Cleveland is these guys are going to be here for a long time. You know, we re-signed Darius Garland to a supermax contract that's going to keep him here for another 6 years at least. Evan's still on rookie scale, so he's going to be here for the foreseeable future. Last year we signed Jared Allen to a 5-year deal. And Donovan has 3 years left. So you have a group of young guys that we really think can grow together. Donovan Mitchell's 26, and he's going to be the oldest player in the starting lineup, which is kind of crazy. So they have a real runway to grow together, and this is not just about 1 year. It's about the years moving forward and guys really hitting their peak together.
So final question for you, Koby. In this profession, it takes time to accumulate a reputation where people want to do deals with you. You have shown yourself as a person that's savvy enough to do deals here. You're doing deals with people across this league. Talk about how that puts Cleveland in a position to be successful on its future runway.
No, I appreciate that. And look, I think I talk about it. My job at its core is to bring the very best talent to Cleveland, Ohio, and set them up for success. And listen, Donovan Mitchell is one of the best players in the world, and we were able to achieve that. But my job is that make sure you have great relationships across the league. Make sure you're available. Make sure people trust you. You know, we moved in silence on that one, and I think there's a trust level and a level of comfort to have with my counterparts around the league to be able to make transactions, have stuff not leak through the media, and be very transparent in my negotiations. Get sides the value they need. If both sides have some pain points, that means it's a good deal. If both sides are happy, that means it's a good deal. And I think we continue to do good business across the league, and we'll continue to do that.
So on behalf of the Cavalier faithful, we're excited, looking forward to it. And again, you're hearing it firsthand from Koby Altman, the architect of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
All right, let's see the handshake. Did we get a handshake at the end of this?
Oh, we got an arm grab. We got an arm grab.
No handshake.
Because all week we've been kind of slow-mowing the end of these interviews to show the handshakes.
That was good.
Brad, that was well done, man.
Well,
very good. Well done.
First of all, I was drafted off. Thank you. I was drafted off the sideline.
That's what I heard.
And let me first thank Koby Altman and the Cavaliers organization, and Ryan Banks from the Cavaliers, who running the communications and media setup for the Cavs, being very hospitable to us for the entire day.
Yeah.
Right? And so we were out there, and we had a number of players, obviously, that came through. And then the unique part about it was Koby agreed to he said, Brad, I'll come there with you and sit down and do it. So I thought Mikey was going to do it. And he was like, no, you're not doing this interview? I was like, okay. So Mikey tossed it to me, and I just wanted to get a couple things off, because I think the important question I just asked was the last one. In order to do deals in the NBA, it's always about relationships.
Yeah.
They have to trust you, right? Because
Why is that so important?
Because you can get burned in a deal. You can end up looking foolish. Remember what happened to Jim Paxson when Carlos Boozer deal?
Right,
on the table, and then Carlos ended up going backdoored him, and Boston came in here, and was it Utah? I mean, Utah came in here and kind of backdoored them,
right?
And so that blew up that relationship.
Secrecy is paramount.
So it was
especially in the NBA.
So what's paramount here is that you have a relationship with somebody. So we went back to Utah, which we had done deals with before. Obviously, there was a good relationship between Koby Altman and Danny Ainge.
Right.
Right. There was a trust factor here because we had done deals before.
And that was lacking between the Knicks and the Jazz.
And that was lacking between the Knicks and the Jazz.
Which probably cost them that deal.
And so when the Knicks got cute with it, the Jazz were like, oh, I don't know about you. And then they ended up communicating back with Cleveland, who thought they were out of the deal again. And they were able to construct that deal real quick. And it was because of the trust factor was 1+1. And that ended up getting Donovan Mitchell here in town here. And I will tell you, to our benefit, because the point is, the core nucleus of this team is all young. There's a long runway in professional sports. 4 or 5 years is a long runway.
We talk about the youth. How important, though, is having a piece like Kevin Love, too?
I think Kevin
and Rubio.
Kevin and Rubio, to your excellent point. Kevin and Rubio have a chance to take a real leadership role on this team. You have to understand that the young horses are the way of the future. But they got to be honed in, understand what we're doing. You saw that last year when we were in the play-in, what happened down the stretch. Garland struggled. Mobley at times struggled because they're finding their way out. The benefit of having a person like Donovan Mitchell here gives us a person who's been there and done that. Kevin's leadership, been there, done that. Rubio has been around, an international player, solid reputation in this league. I think the bigger impact is when you see off the field, on the planes, in the locker room, in the hotel, making sure they're doing things the right way.
How to be a pro on a winning team.
How to be a pro. Now, I was fortunate in my own career. I was around a bunch of older guys that knew what it meant and taught me what it meant to be a pro. I've seen some other teams out here, all young players with no leadership here, and it goes sideways
like
real,
school with no
real
teacher.
quick. That's right. And
they all think they know it all.
Right.
Brad, I look at this. If they can land Jay Crowder, right? If they can land somebody like that, that's tough-nosed, that plays defense, been around. Yeah. I'm looking at this roster on paper, and I know it needs time to gel, but they got all the requisite parts.
Yeah, where's the hole?
To be a problem
and
for some
if
teams.
Mobley develops his offensive game,
right.
So the hole is the hole. I think apparent to everyone here is at the 3. That's where the hole is. But they had to give up a 3 to get to 2.
Yep.
Right. So they got the 2. Now they're looking to fill the 3. Right. And so
in your mind, who steps up?
Is Jay Crowder a good fit?
He could be a good fit because you got a 3-and-D guy, right? I don't think you'll get much offensive production from him, but you don't need it.
You don't need it
if
from
you got Garland and you got Mitchell and then you've got Mobley, so you're good there, right? The question is, Jay Crowder makes, I think, $10 million, right?
Yep.
And so they have to absorb a little bit more money here. But again,
Dan's been willing to do that, though.
But again, if you're looking at the long trajectory here, I think that the opportunity here for Cleveland to be special in an Eastern Conference, which is special. This is not the Western Conference.
No, you're right.
Eastern
The
Conference.
best it's been in a while.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have to make moves. I think they see that.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think that's why they're in the mix. And I think they're scouring the landscape to find out if there's a player out there that they can bring into the fold.
When you talk to your buddies that you played with that still follow the league, one of the things that has me most excited was immediately after the trade was made for Mitchell, when you looked around at the name players that were tweeting about, we see you, Cleveland.
Yep.
Magic Johnson. And then a lot of current players that are currently in the league
of course.
looking around with the eyeball emojis and saying, Cleveland just made a huge jump. What are your buddies that you played with that are still following the league?
Yeah.
What are they saying about what Cleveland's doing?
Well, first thing they say is, what the hell is Cleveland doing? This is not typically Cleveland.
Right.
Get in the mix early here and put some money on the table. So that's unfamiliar territory for many people that I know and played in this league. Cleveland has taken a position, a very aggressive position, and it kind of mirrors what Dan Gilbert has done. I don't know if you've been to the city of Detroit lately and see how he's rebuilt downtown Detroit.
It is him.
Basically led by Bedrock, his company here.
Yeah.
Right? So he's not afraid. He's not a guy that's going to say, I'm going to wait to the second tier. Because typically in this town, we always pick up people at the end of the career. So the Browns move with Watson was unlike anything in Cleveland, right? And so to go out and get Mitchell is unlike something that
And now the Guardians got to sign Aaron Judge.
Let me ask you this. Yeah, but let's not get over our skis. Is there pressure organization to organization? Because we've seen something in Cleveland in the last 6-7 months that I cannot remember a 6-month stretch that saw this kind of movement.
Yeah.
You had the Guardians signing one of their all-star MVP caliber free agents. We've never done that. They've always walked.
Right.
Yeah.
You've got the Browns making this mega deal worth more guaranteed money than anybody that's ever signed a deal in the NFL to bring in Deshaun Watson. I'm wondering if Dan Gilbert, who really has equity with the fans because he's the only one that's won a championship in anyone's lifetime, Dan Gilbert saying, well, wait a minute, we got to make that splash too.
Yeah.
Because we got to keep up with the Joneses. The Browns and the Guardians have done this. Let's make the Donovan Mitchell deal and let's go.
Well, I think that there's obviously some synergy here. And I be clear, because I was with the Guardians on Monday, and they were like, we love it. We're like, it's a special time in this town.
Yeah, it is.
And I think there's some inner competition between the three because everybody wants to be the top dog.
They were saying they love what the Guardians and the Browns are doing.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
They like that.
I love that.
Because it creates year-round synergy here.
Sure.
Right now, it's up to us to capitalize on it. And it puts pressure on because you want to be the best show in town. You don't want if I'm the Guardians, I don't want to be the Browns to be the best show in town. I want to be good.
Yeah, so they're not just competing with the Twins and the White Sox. They're competing with.
Show in town.
No, that's a great point.
And think about, we've talked about recently a lot about how, like, this is the first time in forever that all three teams are good. Not only are all three teams good are good and young.
Yes.
But especially the Guardians and the Cavs. But even the Browns, like of all the really good players on the three teams, how many are over 30? Like, almost none.
Well, to the Cavs, to your point here, the Cavs have people locked up. They don't have to break up off this thing unless
at least three seasons,
unless it goes sideways. Right. Unless it goes sideways.
Which, knowing the personalities of these players, probably won't happen. You never know.
So I think the Mitchell's acquisition was probably best because he seems to have a personality that this team was missing.
Yeah, a little bit of edge.
A little
identity.
edge to him.
Yeah.
A guy that I can get the ball to down the stretch and say, go ahead and make a play for me, right?
He
Somebody
walk around
that's willing to.
He walk around like he know it.
Right.
Like you see him come in. Yeah, I know. You just want.
Now, let me be clear. And I want to make sure that I shout out Dave Dombrowski from the Cavs too, because they put this. I mean, they opened up Ultimate Cleveland. Welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show with open arms.
Right.
At the media day.
Especially
they did.
And especially this was always my thing. You know, when you're trying to do a show like this, you got to gain traction. You got to gain a little bit of trust with some of the teams as well.
So you absolutely
to
have
know
to.
that to know that. Y'all gonna put on a good product. You guys are reputable in what you do, and for the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show to be, embraced and be able to be at Cavs Media Day was big.
Let me shout out BJ too, because BJ was big here because they watched this show. They watch and say, "Let me see what you're saying over here about us," right? Because they want to know that. They want the world to know that they have a product here. They're working behind the scenes to put this product on the floor. They're preparing for a great run here, right? There's some pressure over there because they didn't acquire these players to come in last place.
No,
they're like, we're
absolutely
not here for that,
No.
right? And so the thing about it is I will tell you about Donovan Mitchell. Now, when I was playing, the best players at the media day would be the first ones to leave.
Right.
Jordan Pippen them be the first ones out the door, right?
He stayed the whole time.
Donovan Mitchell, they had to kick him out.
Yeah.
What was Mikey, 4 o'clock? He was still there. This thing started at like noon.
I love to hear that.
Everybody else was gone.
awesome.
Donovan Mitchell walking
that.
around
Because he understands who's paying his salary.
Yeah, right.
At the end of the
That's
day,
cool.
it's the fans. And if the fans aren't there, there's no money for the
very
product.
Hey, guys, I got to cut in for 2 seconds. A, we have Tyvis, so we're going to bring Tyvis in.
Oh, great.
And also, B, Myles is talking to the media right now. He said it's a game-time decision on whether or not he'll play. We'll continue to keep a lookout and any updates on what's happening. But in his words, he called it the crash, quote, a hell of an event. So anything else we see from Myles, we'll kind of pop it up on the screen.
Stupid.
But he is speaking to the media right now. And speaking of media, we have Tyvis, and we're going to start Tyvis with his headline. What's up, Tyvis?
What's going on, world? Look at that. That was a crazy first shot of me, man.
Well, you were kind of surprised when you looked in
Yeah,
the
I
mirror.
was.
You're like, wow, am I
I'm
really that good
here
looking?
watching the show.
Don't hide now, Tyvis. Hey, don't hide now. I got something for you. Talk to him. Stop hiding, Tyvis. Get that close up.
Listen, hold on.
These
You got
ain't
the
out.
mint chocolate chip.
These
Going.
ain't out.
This the
You got to
thing.
get
This
lower,
the thing.
Steve. Pause.
That's the thing. I respect it. Cut the stock. First of all,
Yeah, he
stop
does.
buying from StockX because they've already shown that they have some flugazis going out.
Shout
2,
out to StockX.
cut-
If you want to
cut
deal with your
the
boy, they got
tag off.
15s and 13s if you
When
a
you
big
cut
man.
the-
And you
cut
can't
the
get the
tag off.
shoes. Sometimes
Just cut
you want the cool kicks. You don't want
No.
no Brooks or New Balance.
That's-
Go on over to
that's
StockX.
fine.
They'll
Why you
take
got to
care
dog
of
my
you.
Brooks?
Let's take tag board. Hold on, take tag board. This is a picture of Myles talking to the media.
That's rough.
I don't know if you guys can see from this
Oh,
far,
he's
but he's
swollen.
bruised. His eyes.
All right, this is
deep
freaking
red.
absurd.
Yeah, this is
dumb.
nuts.
He should not
This is
play.
nuts.
He shouldn't even be at the facility. He should just be at home resting.
Guys, it looks like he's got 2 bruises, one on the left temple, one on
Yeah.
the forehead.
No,
His eye is swollen.
not
Why is he
playing.
even there?
Come on,
He
what
not
are we
playing.
doing?
This is ridiculous.
He not playing.
Come on now.
He ain't playing, but he got to be there because they got to give him treatment.
He's saying it's a game time decision.
This is another
Tyvis.
picture from
Oh,
Game
my
time.
goodness.
Come on.
Listen,
What are we?
listen.
No.
What I'm gonna tell you is this: if you don't practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you typically 98% of the time you're not playing in that game.
Tyvis, it shouldn't even be after what we saw with Tua yesterday. You can't let him play.
He ain't. He's not playing.
Yeah,
he's not.
But Tyvis, why did you come out and say it? You're not fooling anybody. Everybody know he's not playing, right? Everybody, you think Atlanta think he's playing?
You don't want that offense coordinator game plan for him.
Oh,
you still
stop playing with me.
It's a mindset.
Well, as soon as they see that picture, they're going to say the same thing we said.
Yeah, I mean, come on, that's crazy.
That dude ain't playing. Hey, Tyvis, you know Marcus Mariota well. What are the Browns in for on Sunday?
I tried to get him in the championship game and I wanted to tell him hang 10. But Marcus Mariota is a great athlete. I mean, he's a guy who, he can make all the throws. The thing about him is that he does have that mobility. Now, I think he has under 100 yards rushing this season, but it's one of those, if Myles Garrett ain't there and we play a lot of man like we did last week, it's going to be open, and he's going to take that because he's a guy that wants to keep the chains moving. So I think this is his chance to try to prove to people that he should still be a starting quarterback. They're going to tailor make this game plan to fit him. And I think Kyle Pitts is the guy who I'm worried about the most because now he doesn't have to stay in the chip block for Myles Garrett or Jadeveon Clowney. Now he's able to free release and do the routes that he wants to do, and they want to get him heavily involved. We seen last game his numbers went up a little bit more, so he's the guy that I'm kind of worried about.
What did you guys do to Marcus in the championship game? Because I remember walking past him on the field after the game. He walked right by me. He looked like he needed smelling salts. And I don't mean, he just looked like, I cannot believe that Ohio State just did that to me. What were you guys doing that made it so difficult for him to do what he had done on everybody else all year long?
We was just playing fast and playing hard. I mean, this was an Oregon team. You got to remember, this is back when they was doing that tempo stuff. And that was the thing that we feared the most. If they make a big play, they're going to hurry up. And now we scattering, trying to figure out what the heck we in and get set, lined up and stuff like that. So we was just trying to make sure that we can eliminate that. Once we did that, I mean, they didn't have a ton of playmakers for us. I mean, they were down their receivers. I think their leading receiver was injured. So it was really just it was just Marcus Mariota we was worried about. And I think we did a great job of making sure that we got pressure on him, making him uncomfortable, making him take off and run. And when he took off run, we tried to make sure that we hit him pretty good. So by the fourth quarter, he was ready to get up out of there.
Yeah, they never got in that rhythm.
Tyvis, let me ask you this question because we haven't seen it. When Joe Woods was here, they talked so much about a year and a half ago about him using 3 safeties.
Tell me about it.
And we never saw it. It ain't. You talk about Chubb and Hunt in the backfield. We never saw the 3 safety look, and I was just like, well, if this is a week you got a linebacker down, Ronnie Harrison is a guy that is comfortable playing in the box. He's another guy that can cover somewhat. Why not come out the 3 safety look this week and possibly mix it up front?
They got to blitz. They got to do something different.
Like that. Why don't you think he's utilized that?
Well, I literally said that on Wednesday. I said this is the week that if I'm running the 4-2-5 and I'm down linebackers, I'm putting Ronnie Harrison in as that 5th. Instead of running G. New at the nickel, I'm kind of running Ronnie Harrison at that nickel position because he does he's a physical guy. He wants to be physical, and he has a history of checking tight ends. So therefore, if it gets to a situation where you're going man to man, you're comfortable with a guy who's had history and has some success in this league checking tight ends. I don't really want to put a linebacker on him because Kyle Pitts is more athletic and he's faster than the linebacker would be. And I think that would be the mismatch that they want. So I would definitely, if I was Joey Woods, I'm definitely running Ronnie Harrison in. I mean, he's on roster. We ain't really utilizing him. He's on special teams. I mean, what the heck did y'all keep him for if y'all not going to utilize him? This is the perfect time to utilize him for situations like this. So if I'm Joe Woods, 1,000% I'm running Ronnie Harrison out there, which is what I said on Wednesday. But who am I? I'm just an undrafted free agent. What do I do?
By the way, Ronnie Harrison is, assuming Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney don't play, Ronnie Harrison is tied for 2nd on the team in sacks of guys who will actually play in the game.
That's crazy.
With a half a sack.
True?
Yep. Of guys that
with half a sack.
Yeah, with a half a sack of guys that are actually going to play in the game. That's how bad it is.
they're gonna have to lean heavily on Alex Wright. It's time for him to step up. You know, you got to show why you're a 3rd round pick, and I want to see Isaiah Thomas out there. You know, I think he had that one game in the preseason where he had that 2 sacks to start his NFL career. Yeah. We're gonna have to we need that this Sunday. You need a guy with a motor. That's what you need at defense end. You have to have that motor because Marcus Mariota got legs, and if you rush up the field too far, you're gonna create a lane, and he's going to escape. And you need guys that's gonna be relentless after this pass rusher. I mean, after this quarterback. And I think Isaiah Thomas is the perfect guy for that. I mean, this is a guy who's young. He was hungry. Where did he go drafted? 7th round. So nobody's really expecting a lot out of him. You have to make a name for yourself in games like this. So this would be the game that they're gonna have to come out there and play lights out and have a motor.
He has his chance.
Hey, Tyvis, did you text your boy Von Bell this morning?
I sure did. Listen. I said, Von, you know what? Shout out to you for getting 2 picks, but we gotta talk about your return skills. And he wanted me to know. He told me that he got some type of hammy issues, and it was a short week, so you know he ain't fully rested up and he ain't healthy. So that's what that was about.
Get to the near sideline, son.
Yeah, take your ball and go to the sideline.
He said he ain't having in him to get it all the way to the house because you know he's dealing with some stuff right now. But that's understandable. That's why people is so mad about Thursday night games because you don't get the rest that you need. So it is what it is.
Hey, Tyvis, on the Buckeye front, if we put Anthony, can we get a shot of Anthony right now?
AKA Austin Hedges.
AKA, if we put Anthony in a Rutgers uniform and he played quarterback, would we know the difference?
No.
You know what? This is so sad that this is where Rutgers is in the Big Ten. You know, I asked somebody that. I asked somebody that question about if none of the starters play, would they still be able to beat Rutgers? And they said
we talked about that Wednesday.
Yeah,
1,000% they would, because they said Rutgers is just that terrible of a team. So
man. What if Brad had to play quarterback for Ohio State? Could they beat Rutgers?
No, because Brad's not doing that. But Tyvis, you know Jay's son from Rutgers in the building. Tell him what he's in store for on Saturday.
Yeah, I know this is rough.
Listen, this is what I'm gonna tell you. Traditionally, every time Ohio State plays Rutgers, they score minimum 50 points. So I'm just telling you, the spread is 40 and a half. I think they're gonna cover it, and I'm sorry to say this. Yeah. It's really a shame that they're going to cover this.
The question is, can Rutgers get to 10? And based on what we've seen this year, I don't know that they've scored 10 points in their first 4 games.
Why is Rutgers in the Big Ten? Just for the media?
For the New York market.
For the New York market.
But nobody cares about
Rutgers. The same reason Maryland's in there. Maryland brings the D.C. and Maryland
They get beat so bad. You got to bring back old school words like mollywopped. Y'all got mollywopped.
Hey, Tyvis. 2 things, because we're running out of time here. Give us a Browns-Falcons final score. Give us a Bucks-Rutgers final score.
I got 24-14 Browns.
Okay.
The Rutgers in Ohio State.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna be polite. I'm not even gonna disrespect them that bad.
Okay.
49-7.
49-7. That covers though.
That's light.
That's still light. He said I'm gonna be light, and they're still gonna cover the 40.5-point spread.
49-7. That's generous. I'm being generous and I'm being respectful.
They're lucky Urban Meyer in here. Urban Meyer get 80 on you.
Yeah, Urban Meyer would try to get 80.
The starters will be out after 2 drives in the third quarter. It'd be the backups.
Oh, golly.
Tyvis, you didn't want any of that smoke last night from my first pitch. You're not taking that deep.
Oh, and I didn't get a chance to see it. Oh, please.
Give me 1 sec. Give us 1 sec.
By the way, the closest game between Rutgers and Ohio State was in 2020. The final score is 49-27.
Yeah, I remember that game.
And you know what? They were in that game,
were in that
too.
game.
They got a couple of late scores to make it 22 points.
Was that the COVID year?
That was the COVID year, yeah.
No, that don't count.
COVID year doesn't
Ohio
count.
State has scored 49 points minimum every time they've played Rutgers.
They'll have 49.
Tyvis, ready for this?
Let's
play it.
I'm going to take right over the fence.
Yeah. You are not taking this over the fence. And by the way, this was just a warm-up pitch. This wasn't anything.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, Jay.
Bro, you grounded out in a softball
I
game.
wouldn't even let you disrespect me by pitching to me like, you better not disrespect me and throw me no pitch like that, because I was literally not only what I did. I'm taking you out the stadium with that. All right?
Out the stadium. Tell me we have Tyvis hitting against softball pitching. We have to have that ready.
We don't. You know what? I'm out of time, Jay. I gotta go.
We love you, Tyvis. You know that, buddy.
I'll see y'all Wednesday.
We'll see you next week.
He's like this on the phone. Hello? Hello? I can't hear you. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, Tyvis is not touching. He probably wouldn't see anything straight. I'd throw cutters and sliders, and he'd be like,
I really wanted you to throw a curveball last night.
I know, everybody
I really
did.
wanted to.
I know I had a lot of people saying, please throw the deuce.
Yeah, please throw it.
No, not on a cold arm.
No, I can't do
Yeah,
it.
hey, listen.
That's not doing
You
that.
got enough arm problems right now.
I know I do.
That's the last thing you need, bro.
Yeah.
You know one of the worst things in the world is that when you're a grown man, and I mean you're over the age where you're paying a lot of taxes and you got dependents. If you mess around and get seriously hurt,
That's the worst.
Playing a game.
if you get seriously hurt, you look at your face. It's a level of panic. Like you can't.
This is more about my body. This is about my wallet.
You just try to you immediately start calling. Where's my wife at? Where's my wife? She can't help you, dog.
You're on your island.
Where's my wife at?
My leg.
I don't understand what's going on with me.
I've had too many grown man injuries, I know.
Hey, before we get to final takes, I do want to remind people that for the first half of the Falcons game on Sunday, come hang out with us. It'll be G. Bush, Adam the Bull, Tyvis, who we just saw, Leroy, DeQuell, Jonathan Abraham, Andre Rison, the guy who we now know who he is, but I think it's funnier that we keep saying we don't know who he is. He's a top right guy next to Tyvis. He's some fantasy football guy. We do love you, Joe. It's going to be fun. Come hang out with us.
Why would we love him? We don't know him.
What a collection of characters. Andre Rison, Leroy Horde, who were teammates here.
Yeah.
DeQuell.
Bro.
Man.
Listen.
It's going to be lit.
I told my mom, I said, bro, listen, I'm on here with Andre Rison. I'm famous. I done made it.
You done made it.
I done made it. I'm the same person.
Your parents, by the way, are lovely people. So I got to spend a little bit of time with them last night.
Yeah,
great people.
They shout out to them. They be holding me down. They you know how you get to a certain age and your parents think you're friends.
Yeah.
Like they be trying to double date and stuff. They're like, where are we going out to eat? I said, you're my parents.
I was talking strategy with your dad in the ninth inning. In the eighth inning, yeah, he wanted Myles Straw to bunt, and I was like, he's been hot lately. He bunted, sacrificed, got Henson.
See, the old heads know that you have to bunt.
See, they two retired people.
Brennan.
They definitely don't leave no games early, and they be sitting here talking about seventh inning coming on around. They don't miss no games.
Your mom called it.
Yeah, seventh inning. She
because a lot of us left early. We wanted to watch the Bengals game. I never leave an Indians Guardians game early.
I was shocked that you left early.
I wanted to. I didn't want, but it didn't mean anything.
Nope.
Your family was there too.
Yeah, and I wanted to watch the Bengals game because I knew it was going to be a topic of conversation today. But when I left, I said it out loud. I go, they're going to score as soon as we leave.
I want to say one
and
more
your
thing
mom called it. They said, hey, eighth inning is when they make the magic happen.
I want to say one more thing about G's dad, though. G, your dad and that umpire, if they saw each other in the parking lot, your dad would have beat him.
Oh, this dude was
your
really?
Dad,
in the ninth inning, they started calling a little tighter strikes.
Man, they squeezed him.
And Mr. G. Bush, what's your dad's name?
His name is Ronald, but everybody calls him Fat Cat.
All right, Fat
I don't
Cat.
know him enough to call him Fat. I'll call him Mr. G.
Yeah.
Mr. G. Bush's
Our
dad.
Bush?
Yeah, Ronald is Ron.
I'm not calling him Ron. I'm calling. He's Mr. G. Bush.
All right,
He was
there it is.
very disappointed with the umpire.
He was getting squeezed.
It was hysterical to sit next to and talk to him. We had a great time.
They
that was another last at-bat win.
It was.
It's 29.
Yep, it was.
Because they scored in the eighth inning.
Right.
That qualifies as a last at-bat win.
And what's the name? My mom wanted to bring the closer in, and my mom and dad was arguing. Dorothy. No, listen, no. They got 4 days off. This game don't mean nothing. She's like, Ron, listen, they can bring in the closer. We need this game. She's like, we really don't need this game.
Who was saying they shouldn't bring him in?
My dad.
Your dad was right.
He was right.
But I love that your parents were debating it. That's awesome.
I love that Dorothy
was into it enough.
Is into it enough to say, I want Clase.
Yeah.
It is fun to watch him in person because as hard as, TV does not do it justice. When you see that dude throw it in person, it's got a different sound, the crack to the glove, and just looking at a pitch travel 100 miles an hour, it is something to see.
It'll get up on you. The ball's
it really
up on
does.
you like
it
now.
looks like it's going to explode through the catcher. That's how hard it's coming home.
By the way, on an unrelated note, I looked it up. There is a set of brothers that did make the Hall of Fame.
Statman Bull. I knew you would get it.
Well, we knew the Manning brothers, Peyton and Eli.
No, I mean the Baseball Hall of Fame. And of course,
Eli in there?
Baseball. Yeah.
Lloyd.
Eli's a Hall of Famer, right?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Oh.
Paul and Lloyd.
I said Manning will be when he gets
Paul and Lloyd Wayner from the Pirates.
The Wayner boys. Yeah, the Wayner boys.
In the 20s and 30s.
Yeah, they were tremendous. The Wayner
and in
brothers.
hockey, Steve pointed out the Esposito brothers.
Yeah.
That's good.
Reggie and Cheryl Miller in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
You know what you
Wow,
what you should do? You should bullshit. Bull should be like the Stump the Schwab. People would come up with these little
Stump the Bull.
Stump the Bull. And
Or
then,
am I stumping people?
No, people will have to get your questions right, and then you're able to get something or something.
Also, I want to break a little unofficial news that I can't confirm when it's going to happen, but Cal Contra will be on the show at some point.
Nice.
Oh,
We're definitely going to get Cal on at some point.
You know, I felt badly for him last night. He pitched great.
His streak lives, though.
His streak lives because he did not take the L. He did no decision. Obviously, they won the game. He didn't take the L, but he pitched well enough. And normally, what was different about him last night was normally he gets 6 runs of support every time he pitches. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, no.
I mean, the Guardians are like 49-2 when they get
because
when
to
they
have
score
that streak,
many.
it's not like he's been elite. He's been a really good pitcher this
very
year.
good, yeah.
But he's not like usually a streak like that. You expect a guy to have like a 2 ERA or something.
Like Ron Guidry in 78.
Right.
You know
the
what's
list
so
he's on, and I can say this because I know his wife, and Jay, you met.
I met her
Ethan
last night.
And she's awesome.
What a great story they have.
And we'll save that for when they come on.
Yeah,
but
it
it's
is
an
a
awesome story.
great story.
She was a hell of a basketball player too.
Was she really?
Really good basketball player.
Yeah. Sweet girl.
Really nice. Went to college with her, but the list is some of the greatest pitchers of all time.
Really?
And Cal Quantrill. Yeah, oh yeah. I'll pull it up before the end of the show, but it is a ridiculous
That's
list.
right.
Of guys.
Like usually guys that are on this list are like Hall of Fame Cal, and maybe he will be someday. I don't know, but like he's had a good, solid season. He's a good, solid pitcher.
Listen,
but he's not pitching at the Cy Young level.
No, but as a third starter in a playoff rotation, teams would love to have that quality of a guy.
Right.
I'm not sure he's not the 2. I think they'll probably go with Bieber, McKenzie, and then Quantrill.
McKenzie's been phenomenal.
And by the way, that place was electric last night. 8th inning. I tell you what, I was sitting there thinking, man, how great would it be to see this in the playoffs? It was a different atmosphere.
It was in the playoffs in 2016.
Yeah, it was. It's crazy because you don't, and it doesn't do it justice. Like if you're watching it on TV, it's different. Like when you go and the team is good and there's playoff baseball and every pitch counts.
Oh, there's nothing better than October
baseball. The first playoff
baseball.
game I went to here was it 2014 when they played the Rays in the wild card? They lost.
Yeah, 1 game deal.
But it was really fun.
Yeah,
I mean,
those games are always exciting. That's like a Game 7.
Right.
Anytime you're in a Game 7 atmosphere where it's win or you're done, those are fantastic. I don't know. Do we have time for final takes?
No, let's say goodnight.
No, my final take is the Browns better damn win because you better be 3-1.
We gotta get that 3-1.
2-2 ain't gonna get you to 6.
No,
I don't see how.
We got to start back engineering it now.
I got the Browns winning 31-28.
You say
31-28.
High scoring game.
Okay.
All right. You listen. I got the Browns winning, but you say my final take for Monday because Kim Mulkey at LSU.
Yeah.
I'm coming for you.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah.
I ain't got nothing, man. Shout out to G. Bush.
Shouted out yourself.
Oh, no. Shout out to my sponsor, Sucre Murata. Look at that. Shout out.
And shout out to Rodney and Dorothy.
Ron and Dorothy Bush, man. I like them, man.
By the way, a very quick story. 2 nights ago, I'm reading a book to my son. Really quick. Reading a book to my son about...
8 seconds.
I don't even remember what it was about. It was about some great athlete.
Yeah.
And then in the back of the book, it said there was also a story about Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And I said, and I reminded my son that Brad played with Michael Jordan. He goes, he's got Michael Jordan's phone number? I said, yes, he does.
I don't know who's worse, if Jay loses his phone or Brad loses his phone. Who's in more trouble?
It's Brad.
Yeah, it's got to be Brad.
No offense, but Michael Jordan trumps.
Before you go, shout out to DeQuell for that information, that real insight on.
Yeah, DeQuell was awesome.
On
Hey,
real
one last thing on that real quick. He did
was
say
great.
that he is it's the most upset he's been that he had to leave a conversation we've been a part of.
We're going to touch that. We're going to touch that.
We're going to get back with DeQuell next week. We'll continue that next week because it really was going down.
And this conversation is not going away.
No,
it's not going away.
Certainly not.
And we're going to deal with it Sunday. I'm telling you, if Myles Garrett runs through that tunnel with a uniform on and ends up playing,
if he hits that field on Sunday,
it's not a good look.
This
chill out.
This town should be livid.
Chill.
Yeah.
But you know half the fans would be like, sure, he should play.
More than half the fans
I heard
would
him on the
cheer that he's
radio
out there.
today.
It's a gladiator sport, but at the end of the day, these are real human beings with real lives, with futures that they don't
shouldn't
need
even
to
be a discussion.
No. And by the way, he doesn't have the financial component that these other guys do.
He has parents. That's somebody's child.
All right, we're out of time. We're taking a 70-hour break. We're back here on Monday.
See ya.
Remember, tune in to the post-game show, the 2-minute warning.
Thanks to our
studio audience. By the way, our capacity is 4.
The first
so we
studio
were 3/4
audience.
full today.
Can we make this
That's right.
Can we make this a permanent thing?
And there it is. The
Bam.
most important pitch. That pitch really was the runway to them winning last night.
Inspired them, yes.
Yeah, I had to set the stage. See you on Monday. Enjoy the game Sunday.